Good afternoon and welcome back to the Lit Lane Jury Box here on Trial Watch with Demetra. I am Demetra, lit all day, otherwise known as Judge D Lit, self-proclaimed. It is a good Thursday around here, just a regular smuggler day here in Houston, Texas. I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you guys are ready to ride this one out with me as we continue watching the Forgetful Granny trial. This trial is out of Florida, whereas the grandmother has been accused and being tried for manslaughter in the case of leaving her granddaughter, a baby around 7 months old, in a hot car. The granddaughter did not make it, little Uriel. Now, of course, we're going to be watching this trial under fair usage. This is the disclaimer allowing for us to do such things as criticize, comment, news report, teaching, scholarship, and research. So we will be using the fair usage. Let me take this down now. Good afternoon, Miss Steph 219. Good afternoon, Kurt Vixen. Good afternoon, Unbothered. Good afternoon, Tracy Whitehead. Thank y'all for joining me today. I plan on being here for a little stretch today. Okay, Miss Steph 219. I plan on being here today for like at least 4 hours because the trial ended yesterday. It was only a 2-day trial. So we're gonna try to get through it before this week is out, meaning today and tomorrow, right? Hey, Sean P. I'm trying to take this thing down. So yesterday on the first day of testimony, we really just heard from, we heard from the daughter, the baby's mom, and she was just matter of fact about it. You know, she was just simply giving the facts. The facts is she called her mom. It wasn't planned. It wasn't scheduled. She called and asked her mom to babysit the baby, little Uriel, because she had a hair appointment, and we found out that it was more like a self-care day because she had small kids, and it's the first time that she was going to do something for herself. She called her mom and say, hey, mom, can you do granny duty and watch the baby? The grandmother, of course, says yes. The grandmother had been at a Bible group meeting at a friend's house. They swung over, picked up the baby from the mom's job, and proceeded to go to lunch. The grandmother, her friends, the baby. We heard from I think we heard from like 3 or 4 of the little church group members. You know, it seemed like they're all a bunch of retired teachers, all good church going women. You know, they all seem to have respect and esteem for the defendant. Okay, no one was just saying anything against her. Hey, VA Sag, we just getting started. Nobody really testified badly about the defendant, not even her daughter. Now we know, because we wasn't actual jurors, so we are privy to the fact that this is not the first time a grandchild of the defendant has passed away under her watch. We are privy to know that the same thing, a different scenario, but that she had lost another grandchild, a 17-month-old boy, drowned in a pond on the property. Now we know that, okay, the viewing audience or everybody when they streaming it, but this jury was not told or given that information. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they come up with. Now we're going to jump back into this testimony, you guys. I want us to really get through this trial. So we are not going to hesitate getting into it. Y'all, please hit the like. And thank y'all for supporting this content in this channel. We are growing. Every day I got a new subscriber over here. Yay. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. Boom. There you go. Hey, OG Woo Child. Glad y'all made it. We are just getting started on part 2, but they still on day 1. It was only a 2-day trial. So we're going to be here for about 4 hours today and try to get through these testimonies. And that way, hopefully, we can finish it up tomorrow, maybe. I really want to get into that Ponzi scheme poison trial. I really want to get into that. I've been peeping at it. Okay, I think this is our first good look at the Granny. The Granny is in the burgundy dress. It's a real quick trial. It's just 2 days. The first four witnesses. I just gave a recap. You really haven't missed much. She went to lunch with the baby. She had the baby out at the table, was paying attention. You know, I'm trying not to play OG Woo Child. So far, we just heard from, just the daughter, the mother of the child. She didn't lean one way to the left or right. Boy, she sure look happy. They eating gingerbread cookies. Child. She got a lot of support. Hey, pretty Glow said it's good to see you. Thanks for joining. She a retired school teacher slash principal for 17 years. Sunday school teacher. And it's obvious. I don't know if y'all can hear me or not. I don't see my bubble moving. And it's obvious too. She got a lot of support. Oh, okay. I don't know why I don't. Oh, it's moving now. Okay. Hey, Tamika McMillan, good to see you, girl. Thank y'all. But I'm about to be quiet now. Baby, she eats stuff off the table and everything. I don't know why that got me laughing. Child, she ain't got no napkin. She just put it on the table and picked it up. Okay. But yeah, this is a very serious trial, right? I'm like, ooh. Okay, I would normally fast forward this, but I just wanted y'all to get a good feel for the defendant because yesterday we really didn't see her. We just saw the back of her head. On trial for manslaughter, I think is the biggest charge. Left the car and the baby in the hot car. The baby did not make it. This is not the first grandbaby that has perished in her care, however. Within a year, in that same year, a few months earlier, in a separate case, her grandson drowned in the pond on her property under her care. The state did not pick up any type of criminal charges against her when that first accident. She faced no criminal charges at all. It was just a tragedy, a bad accident. But now she's on trial for the death of a second grandchild to perish in her care. No, that's the, but I OG Wu Child say, girl, I know you effing lying. No. That's why, trust me, that's why law and crime is covering this trial. Had it not been for that fact that this was the second grandchild to die in her care, they wouldn't have covered this trial, I'm sure. But because of that, that's why they're covering it. But what's real important to know, OG Wu Child, and anyone listening, is that this jury will not hear any type of testimony or even any type of mention of the first grandchild who drowned. The judge decided to leave that testimony out. So they have no clue, safe to say. Wow, indeed. Yep. We ended up watching this one by accident. We just watched the opening statements, and I did like a "What would you do?" and then we got invested. But the daughter seems like, she don't. The daughter don't hold any malice. She just say her mama need to be, be accountable, but that she love her mama, and that she don't think her mama did anything in malice or like on purpose. Lauren Crime has dubbed this. They have named this the Forgetful Grandmother Trial. Y'all, please hit the like. I'm gonna go ahead and go on mute. Thank y'all for joining.
All rise.
Y'all could be seated, Lit Lane Jury Box. Thank you. VA said, now if the mother lets her watch the third baby, I'm going to think something is wrong with her. Okay. You would have named it that too.
Yes, Your Honor. State the call, Rebecca Tucker.
All right, here we go.
Bring her on in and swear her in. So you're probably going to break around noon for your lunch. And we'll give you about an hour 15 minutes. Sorry. Sorry. Rebecca Tucker. Yes, sir.
Yes, OG Wu Chow. The grandkids were from the same child. Yes, ma'am.
Come on over here, we'll get you sworn in.
Here to step this way, man.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. Please state your name for the record.
My name is Rebecca Tucker.
And you are soft-spoken, so if you could try to speak up for us a little bit.
I said my name is Rebecca Tucker.
Thank you, ma'am. And where do you live?
I live in Wachula
How long you lived there for?
my whole life.
Your whole life. And what do you do for a living, ma'am?
I'm a business owner.
And what business do you own?
Like the name of it?
Sure.
It's called Frontline Roofing.
And do you own that with somebody else?
Yes, I do.
With who?
With my husband.
And his name is?
His name is Jonathan Tucker.
And do you have children?
I do.
And what are their names? Just their first names. I guess we know their last names.
Aiden and Cooper.
And do you know a Kayla Nix?
Yes,
Who is that?
she's my sister.
And how about finally Tracy Nix? Do you know
She's-
her?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about the buffering. It should be clearing up here soon. Let me make sure I got everything closed down. I do. Um, Let me just be patient for a moment.
And who is that?
She's my mom.
Oh, this is another daughter. Okay. This is another. I know that gum.
Shock. Who was that?
She's my niece.
Okay. Now, I know this is upsetting, and I'm sorry I have to go back to it, but I do have to go back to November 1st of 2022. Okay? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Ma'am, if you recall, just in general, what were you doing that day?
It was a normal day. I worked and picked my kids up from school.
Okay. Let me ask you in particular, were there any plans that you had with your mother, Tracy, Nix, that day? Maybe not for you, but for someone in your family.
Yes, Aiden was supposed to go out of town with her.
And how was that supposed to happen?
I was to bring him to her house after
And
school.
After school?
Hmm.
And how did you communicate with your mother that day?
Through texting, I believe.
And so do you know, you said it was supposed to be after school?
Yes,
What time was approximately after school?
between 4 and 5 p.m. I don't know exactly what time.
Okay, but roughly around that.
Right.
And did you bring Aiden to your mother's house that day?
I did.
And was it roughly in that between 4 and 5 o'clock hour?
Yes.
And what happened when you got out to your mom's house? Or let me ask you this: where does your mom live?
She lives on Kaizen Road in Wachula.
And what was going on when you got out there?
Well, whenever Aiden and I got out of the vehicle to check on my boys' 4-H pigs that they had at the time, I saw my mom and my dad doing something by my mom's vehicle, and I wasn't really sure, what it was. So but I mean, it didn't take long at all to figure it out.
And your mom's property, is it just her house, or?
No, so you have the house, and then the barn is in the back.
So where did you see your mom's vehicle?
It was down by the barn where we went.
All right. And she was doing something, but you didn't think of anything at first?
No, I couldn't see because their backs were to me.
Okay. Did you come to find out more soon after?
Mm-hmm.
What did you see?
I saw them get Yuri out of her car seat.
And when you say them, who were you talking to?
My mom or my dad, I'm not really sure which one was the one that got her out, but I mean, it was one of them.
And your dad's name?
His name is Nay.
Got Yuri out of the car seat?
Yes.
Where was Yuri put?
Where you said where
Where
was
was
she?
she placed?
On the ground.
Okay. Anything else that was done?
My dad started performing CPR.
What did you do?
I called 911.
All right. You said you called 911?
Yes.
All right. And obviously, was that for Yuri?
Yes.
I'm showing you what's been pre-marked as State's Exhibit number 3. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
What is that?
That's the disc that has the 911 call on it.
The recording?
Yes.
Is that a fair and accurate depiction of the call you made that day?
Yes.
And Ms. Tucker, I'm done going into the details of what you saw. Did you stay around there or did you leave?
I mean, I was there probably for 5 or 6, I mean, I don't know, a few minutes while on the phone.
Oh, yes.
And then, once I heard the ambulance nearby, I left because I didn't want Aiden to go through that,
You want to get your son out of there.
Right.
Ms. Tucker, I'm sorry I had to ask you the questions. Thank you very much for answering them. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Defense? Lawrence?
Baby, these people be trying to get off the stand fast.
Good morning, Ms. Tucker. That
Welcome back to the
particular
box, Annie.
day,
Good to
was
see
your
you.
mom going to take Aiden, you indicate, I think, out to eat?
Yes.
And was he also supposed to do something else, like, say, find Christmas gifts or look at Christmas gifts for him?
Yes.
Okay. And while you were there, did you observe your mom?
I did. While my dad was doing CPR, she went around to the other side of the barn. And while I was trying to figure out what excuse me, what had happened, I walked, around to where she was, and that's where I saw her on her hands and knees and was, just completely, pale and breathing really heavy. And I don't know. It all happened so quickly.
Was she gagging?
I'm pretty sure she threw up.
And was she breathing heavily?
Yeah.
Did you call that hyperventilating?
Yes.
Okay. Could you see her eyes?
Yeah, they were huge.
Okay. I assume that was a pretty traumatic experience. Okay. Thank you.
Steve?
No further questions, Your Honor?
All right, may she be released?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. All right. And thank you.
What's funny to me, not funny, but what's strange to me or stands out to me is that they really not pressing any of the witnesses so far for any type of like character testimony, right? Is your mom forgetful? Does your mom make mistakes often? Is your friend reliable? Do you make appointments with her like the church members? Do y'all make dates and she miss them? They're not asking none of that type of stuff. Oh, for real, Annie? Yeah, they're being very nice. But this is a small, I think, from what I'm gathering, this is not a big city, right? And like I said, the only reason why this case even probably made it to be streamed live, publicly like this is simply because of the fact that she had another grandchild die in her custody. Hey, Winter, you been here, huh? Hey, Winter.
911, where is your emergency?
Good to see you, girl.
1478 Caven Road. What's happening at 1478 Caven Road? I'm with my niece and the clock. I don't know. I just pulled up, but we need EMS, like, immediately. Please. All right. Your niece was left in the car? Is she breathing? I don't know what that happened. I have no idea. I can't even fathom this right now. My nephew says, can you get to her so we can answer some questions? No, I don't know what's going on. I can't. My mom is I can't. I literally can't. I have no idea. Talk to your dad if he's with your niece. My dad, it has her right now. My dad has her. Oh Lord. How old is your niece? Oh my God. This is really, really, really bad. Oh no. Oh, ma'am. Oh yep. My name is Rebecca Tucker. My parents are named Tracy Nick. Okay, ma'am, how old is your niece? I don't know. She's only a couple months old. Okay, I need you to be with her because I need to know if she's breathing. I need to know now. It doesn't seem like it. So it doesn't seem like she's breathing. No. Do you know how long she was left in the vehicle? I have no idea. I just pulled up. Please. Okay, I have help on the way, but I'm gonna stay on the phone with you while you're there. Oh Lord. Okay. Well, I have my 12-year-old son. Okay, how old is your niece? Is it gonna be the baby? 6 months old. Okay. Just take her pics, please, and I'm gonna take you home. I can't be here for this. Okay, I understand. This is Kayla's the youngest one? Yes. Okay, I need to talk to somebody because I want to do CPR on her. My dad's doing it right now. Okay, so the CPR is in progress? Are you doing CPR? Oh my God, she's dead. Okay, how does she look? Her eyes are open. She's not moving or breathing. Eyes are open, not moving or breathing? My son's home. That's correct. Hey, Taylor, are you on the phone, baby? No. Oh my goodness, this is, whew, I'm sorry. I see something I can't, whew, okay. Whew, come on, honey, finish up, please. Let's go. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh Lord, okay. Good, okay. Okay, I know that you're wanting to leave. Is there any way I can talk to somebody that's there? Is Tracy there? See, I don't know where she's gone to. I don't know where she is. I don't know. Okay. Does your dad know how to do CPR on an infant? Yes, yes, he does. Dad, you're doing it, right? Yes, he's doing it. Oh my goodness. Okay, I know you just got there. Is there any way that somebody can answer how long she's been like this? Mom! Mom! I don't know where she's at. How long was she in the car? A while. A while she was in the car. Took her to work with you. Okay. All right, ma'am. Okay, so she took her to lunch with her, and then whenever she got back, she was just left in the car? Yeah. Yes, ma'am. I know y'all want me to say I have to take my son home. He cannot. I can't do this with him here. So, did your mom call me? Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yep. Hold on. Mom?
Your Honor, the state's concluded publishing case exhibit 3.
All right. Thank you. State, next witness number 6.
Yes,
Okay, so why they calling another witness? Miss Steph 219 said the sister saw the baby when she pulled up. Why didn't grandma see the baby when she got out the car? We have no clue. And thank you, Annie, for your well wishes on the channel. Lady Tia's like, where the hell is Tracy, the grandmother, right? But Tracy had already went, she left it up to the dad to do the CPR because she was having a whole entire nervous breakdown, which is understandable, right? I mean, especially seeing how we know this is the second child. You know, that this has happened with. She probably was having a complete nervous breakdown, okay? Okay, one of the first officials taking the stand. This is one of the EMTs. He showed him like no cop. Very weird, Sean.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Coleman.
Please state your name.
Gabriel Coon,
I think it's kind of obvious, but how are you employed?
by Hardy County Fire Rescue.
How long have you worked for Hardy County Fire Rescue?
Actually, it'll be 9 years tomorrow.
And what do you do for them?
I'm a firefighter paramedic.
I think we might have an idea, but why don't you just tell us what that is?
So firefighter paramedic, of course, you know, the firefighter part, you know, we're in charge of suppression of all kind of fire incidents. Then the paramedic part is just the EMS part, emergency medical services. So any kind of emergency, medical emergency that people have, we'll go out and respond to it. So we're dual certified in both of those.
And do you require any specialized training when it comes to the medical aspect? I'm sure at the firefighting, yes. I don't mean to ignore that.
I did with Hardy County Fire Rescue. I did 4 years as an EMT and 5 years as a paramedic. So it's about 3 months to 6 months for EMT school, another 11 months with paramedic, and about 6 months for to become a firefighter.
So you pretty well trained on rendering medical assistance.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, how long you said you've been doing that again?
9 years tomorrow.
And let me ask you this, sir. Were you doing the same type of duty since it was 9 years on November 1st of 2022?
Yes, sir.
And let's just get to why you're here, okay? Do you recall participating in attempting to treat 7-month-old Uriel shock on that day.
Yes, sir. I was a charged paramedic.
Can you explain how you became involved?
So I was on a rescue that day. So we got dispatched to the call, and I believe it came out as a cardiac arrest. And with the additional notes, they said that the child has been left in the car since around noontime.
Okay. And so how did you get there that day?
We was in a rescue, the ambulance, and so we drove there to the scene.
And do you remember where you went to?
Yes, we went to. You want the address?
You can refresh your recollection if you need to.
Yeah, 1478 Kazan Road in Wauchula, Florida.
And what was going on when you got out there, sir?
So when we arrived on scene, I think we was more directed to go towards the back of the house. As we was approaching, I guess it was the grandfather. He was kind of in a hysterical state. He already had pulled the child out of the back of the vehicle and had her on the ground. You know, like I said, he was hysterical, crying. It looked as if he was trying to do CPR. When we arrived, we parked the rescue probably about a couple feet away from it. I exited out of the vehicle. I walked around, picked the patient up, and at that time, you know, I can feel how hot she was.
Let me stop you there, sir. And when you say patient, are we talking about Uriel?
Yes, sir.
And was Uriel a child? Was she an infant?
Yeah, she was an infant.
Okay. Now you said you picked her up. You noticed she was hot.
Yes. So when I picked her up, I could feel through my gloves. She was just hot to touch. She had on, I would say, something that you would normally put a child in during the wintertime. It was like a long sleeve onesie, like a real fuzzy onesie.
Did you notice anything about the onesie she was in?
Yes, it was very damp.
Damp, you said?
Damp.
Okay.
From, sweating.
Okay. So once you pick her up, what did you do at this point?
At that point, we went ahead because we used the back of our rescue. We use it as more of like a controlled environment. So we entered into the rescue, and that's when we started proceeding to do CPR efforts at that time.
And so is doing CPR on an infant a little more different than you would normally do?
It can be. It could be more of a little bit more traumatic, but
Okay. Now, what else are you doing? You're doing CPR, or what other types of medical treatment are you rendering?
Yep. So we're doing CPR, which is chest compressions at that time. The other person that was on the truck with me, he started an IO, which is intraosseous, which is basically instead of going with an IV into the vein, it just goes straight into the bone, which was in the lower leg area, the tib fib area. So we can begin giving medications a little bit quicker at that time. And as he's doing that, I was beginning to intubate the patient because we needed to secure an airway. But at that time, when I was getting ready to insert the blade into the patient's mouth, I noticed that she was clenched, which means...
Let me stop you there. You were getting ready to? What do you mean she was clenched?
Which means her jaw was just kind of locked in place at that time. Usually we'll have to push medications like succinylcholine to kind of get them to relax. But at that time, once we started doing, further evaluation, we noticed that she started to have rigor mortis that was already set in.
And I think we all have an idea of what that is, but what is rigor mortis?
So that's just stiffening of the muscles and stuff. Once you kind of like pass away or death occurs, the chemicals in the muscles start to leave, and that's just when your muscles and stuff starts to constrict and stuff. But
Where did you notice the rigor?
In her limbs, in her upper limbs.
And how does that show?
Just the arms itself will be just kind of in place.
Okay.
Stuck in place there.
And so did you make any other observations other than the rigor?
Yes, that she also had lividity also, which is the pooling of the blood. So once the body, stops circulating blood, with the help of gravity, basically whatever lower portions to the body, gravity just pulls the blood down to the lower parts of the body.
And what did that lead you to believe, sir?
That she's been dead for a while.
And so what did you do at this point? Did you continue your life-saving treatment?
No, at this point, we went ahead and radioed over to Abbott Health Wauchula and spoke with the doctor on hand, Dr. DeWan, and we gave him our findings at that time. And he gave us the go ahead and basically call it a signal 7, which is dead on arrival at that point.
And even though there was nothing that could be done, what was done with Uri at that time?
at that point, we just basically just transport it to the hospital because it's in our protocol. All pediatrics cardiac arrest must be transported to the hospital at that point.
So regardless of her status, you still took her to the hospital.
Right. Right.
All right, sir. I don't think I have any further questions for you.
Okay.
Why none of these people seem to realize they got to be questioned by two sets of people? And yes, what we just found out was very disturbing. She had been there so long, the rigor mortis has set in, and lividity. That's hours, or maybe because it's still hours. It don't matter, you know. And then she's so small, 7 months on. Oh, y'all, don't forget that. So I definitely understand when you guys can't, you know, if something is triggering or too hard, please take care of yourselves. With this content, sometimes it's very triggering.
You gonna step around this way, sir?
State your name, sir.
How's it going? James Kyle Bodek.
And what do you do for a living, sir?
I'm a firefighter paramedic for Hardy County Fire Rescue.
And how long have you been doing that for?
Going on 12 years now.
And I think we've heard from your fellow firefighter medic, but did you require training and experience to obtain your position?
Yes, sir. Through EMT
Thank you,
school,
Lady
then
Tia.
fire school, and then
2
paramedic
hours.
school.
Rigor mortis.
And how long is that process?
About 2 years total.
So you have extensive medical training,
Yes, sir.
on the job training also?
Yes, sir.
All right. So with the amount of time you've been doing this for, is it safe to say your duties were the same back on November 1st of 2022?
Yes, sir.
Now, I do want to draw your attention specifically on that date. Do you recall participating in attempting to treat 7-month-old Uriel shock on that day?
Yes, sir, I do.
How did you become involved in that?
We were at the station, got dispatched for the call, and at our station, Wachula, it was Rescue 1 and Engine 1 went to that call.
Okay. And so how did you get to that call physically?
Oh, my duty that day was I was on Engine 1. I was the paramedic on that truck. So we followed in behind Rescue 1.
And Rescue 1 would be the ambulance?
Yes, sir.
And so you're following him in. Where did you go?
Our truck pulled around to the front of the driveway. Our truck couldn't make it in the back, so we parked by the front of the house and we walked in around the side of the house to where the rescue was, back behind where the driveway ended.
Okay. And so what was going on when you got there, sir?
When we got there, the rescue crew had already moved the patient into the back of the truck, and then that's where we came in. I came in through the back door of the truck.
And when you say patient, we're speaking of?
Yuri or Miss Shock.
And so she was already in the back. Do you use that truck to kind of as an impromptu area to?
Well, the rescue is what we use to treat and transport patients to the hospital.
Okay. And so she was already there.
Yes, sir.
So what did you do once you got there? Or once you noticed all that?
They had continued CPR from the family on scene. We took off the patient's clothing to expose her, which is normal for us. Started at IO, which is a needle that goes into the bone that we can help give medications to. What else?
Did you make any observations when you were removing the clothing?
Yes, the clothes were soaked from sweat, and she was hot to the touch.
What was the weather like that day?
It was hot that day. We had done training early in the day. It was warm.
You said that you were speaking of the IO. I think we heard about that a little earlier.
Yes, sir.
At some point, did you continue to give her life-saving treatment or no?
So I was placed at the bottom, and so my job would have been the IO and medications. They were doing CPR, and my partner at the top was trying to do intubation. He noticed that her mouth was clenched shut, And at that point, we started noticing that the hand had rigor mortis already in it, which means the muscles had already contracted and they don't move anymore. And then we noted lividity once we turned her over a little bit to her back, which is the pooling of blood.
So at that point, and your partner would that have been?
Mr. Gabriel Kuhn.
Okay. And so at that point, what was decided to do?
We were already trying to turn the truck around to get to leave. And once we saw those signs, those are obvious signs of death for us. We had contacted the hospital through the radio to get permission to discontinue CPR at the time.
And did you do that?
Yes, sir, we did. We contacted the ER physician at Advent Health Wauchula, which was Dr. Dewan, explained to him what we had, and he gave us permission to discontinue CPR because at this point, no further action would have changed anything. And then from there, because the way the scene was, we transferred her to the hospital to get her away from the scene.
And what do you mean the way the scene was?
Just the chaoticness of law enforcement there. This situation has happened there before, so then we had left to kind of free up, I guess, to where she could be at peace at somewhere else, not left on scene.
Thank you, sir. I have no further questions.
Oh wow, he wasn't supposed to say that. Y'all heard him accidentally say this situation had happened before.
Yes, sir. Okay, so
I bet you the judge telling him don't say that.
y'all can get back around 12:15, please.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, see, I bet you anything. Hey, this is just speculation on my part, but I bet you that they went ahead and hurried up on this break real quick so they can remind him that they can't say nothing about the first grandbaby that drowned. In pretrial hearings, this judge has already ruled that no information and no reference can be made in this trial about the fact that in the same year, earlier this same year, 2022, somewhere around April or March of 2022, a 17-month-old little boy, Ezra, big brother to baby Uriel, drowned on the grandmother's property under her care. That was in April, March of 2022, and this happened to little Uriel where she got left in the car and didn't make it. I believe don't quote me, but I believe it's sometime like September, November in the fall. In the same year. And he is the first one to actually slip up like that. And he said, well, this wasn't the first time it had happened. I'm pretty sure they let him know before we come back from break. By the time we come back from break, you need to get that together. Because, really, they can declare a whole entire mistrial if he keep going into that. Okay, so let me skip past through the magic of there go one of the church members. And that's the daughter, the baby mama. That's Uriel's mom. That's Tracy, the defendant's daughter. Kurt Vixen, yes, indeed. Unfortunately, yes. Kurt Vixen says, Demetra, you telling me these are the same daughters lost both children to her mother? Yes. Same daughter, children. It's unbelievable, right? I know her attorneys immediately in chamber start calling for a mistrial, right? I bet during the break, the defense is asking for a mistrial, correct? Lord, they would have to tell the jury to disregard that last statement, correct? That could be grounds for mistrial. Mistrial. Baby, we own it. Y'all know this is January, right? I think by the time spring come around, we are gonna be like some regular old legal beavers. I mean, no, what's called it? So, uh, not no legal beavers. Not. I don't like the sound of legal beavers, but we gonna be on it, okay? Some trial experts up in here. So for the lit lane jury box, we have to kind of, even though we are privy to that information, as we watch this play out, now we did a lit lane jury poll on this yesterday or the day before, when last time we was here for the first part. Hey, Living, welcome back. Legal Eagles, thank you. I called us some leave.
Tell Phyllis to bring the jury in.
I said legal beavers. Y'all gonna let me make it. Y'all gonna let me make it. Okay, court is back. We are now back in session. Okay, not legal beavers, legal eagles. Got it. Please hit the like. We are back in session. Let's go. The forgetful Granny trial. Hey, Jill. Welcome back to the Little Lane Jury Box, home of the legal beavers.
Yeah, bring one.
All right.
Yeah, Jill, I messed it up. It's legal eagles, I found out.
All right, everyone have a seat.
Sorry for the tech, but it'll clear up in a second here. For the buffer, and it'll clear up.
The jury, we had your
There we go.
trial lunch break. Anything I need to know about? Everything like this plan? The discussions amongst anybody? Okay, if that happens, y'all need to let me know. And Steve, call me next week.
Yes, Your Honor. The state calls Officer Lyle Harris.
All right, I think that's your eighth grade, correct? All right.
You just have this way, sir?
Officer, have a seat right here, sir.
Step around, watch your step.
May I proceed, Your Honor? Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Could you please state your name for the record?
Lyle Hart,
And even though it's obvious, what do you do?
police officer for the Wauchula Police Department
How long have you been with the Wauchula Police Department?
since November of 2023.
And is this your first job as a law enforcement officer, or do you have prior experience?
I have prior experience.
Where'd you work before that?
1996, I started with the Florida Department of Corrections, and then in 1999, I was hired with the Hardy County Sheriff's Office.
And so how long do you work with Hardy County? Or what were the years you worked for Hardy?
1999 until 2023.
All right. And did you retire at that point?
I did.
And you missed it so much you came back?
I did.
All right. So, sir, so what was your position with the Hardy Sheriff's Office in November of 2022?
November 2022, I was a detective.
And so would that have been your role back on November 1st of 2022?
It was.
And I do want to go back to that time frame. Okay, sir. During that time frame, did you become involved in the death investigation of a urial shock?
I did.
How did you become involved, sir?
Welcome to the Danger Airbox Foot Soldier. Good to see you.
And what did you do once you received that call?
I responded to the scene in my vehicle.
And so where did you go?
I went to the incident location, Kazan Road.
And was that a residence?
It was.
Whose is that?
The defendant, Miss Nix.
And when you got out there, what was going on, sir?
As soon as I arrived, I could tell that something had happened. I already knew because of the call. And the husband had his knees down, sitting on his knees in the yard, had his hands in his face. He was crying. I think Tracy was walking around very frantic.
And do you know approximately what time you got out there?
I don't know exactly what time it was.
Okay. And so you see this that's going on. What else is going on, sir?
Medical units are arriving. Other law enforcement are arriving.
And when you say medical units, you're referring to?
The ambulances.
And so the address you went out, sorry about the question, but is that in Hardy County?
It is in Hardy County.
Okay. And what did you say Tracy Nix was doing?
She was walking around. She appeared to be in a frantic state. She was crying as well.
And did you discover what was going on out there?
I did.
What happened?
I discovered that she had left her granddaughter, Uriel, in the vehicle that she was driving that day.
That's the frantic nature?
Correct. That was the reason that she was frantic.
And what was the granddaughter's name?
Uriel Shock.
And was Uriel Shock there when you got there?
I believe she was in the ambulance, if not, had already been transported.
Okay. So what did you do next, sir, once you're out of that scene?
My supervisor advised me to go to the hospital, the Advent Health in Wauchula, and take possession, not possession, but be there for the scene of the child and begin photographing Uriel Shock.
And so you took photographs?
I did.
So it kind of sounds like they was already knowing she wasn't going to get off the hook for this one. They immediately started treating it as a crime. Sound like to me. What y'all think?
Approaching you with what's been pre-marked States Exhibits 4 through 8. Please keep them down and go through each one of them. See if you recognize them. Look up when you're ready to proceed, sir. Okay? Are you ready, sir?
Yes.
First, I'd like to for you to take a look at State Exhibit number 4. This should have been in order.
Okay.
Do you recognize that item, sir?
I do.
What is that?
It's a picture of Uriel Shock in the hospital bed.
And what was Uriel's status when you were taking these pictures?
She was already deceased.
Is that a fair and accurate representation of what you observed that day at the hospital?
It is.
Your Honor, the state would seek to enter into State's Exhibit number 4.
Defense and objection?
No, Your Honor.
So admitted without objection.
And the state will publish them once they've all been admitted, Your Honor. Would you please take a look at State's Exhibit number 5, sir?
Yes.
What is that?
It's a picture of Uriel Shock's little hand.
And what does the picture show?
The hand is clasped shut, like gripping.
And is that a fair and accurate depiction of what you observed that day in the hospital?
It is.
Your Honor, the statement C10 or in State's Exhibit number 5 at this time.
Defense,
No objection.
admitted without objection.
Would you please turn to State's Exhibit 6? You recognize State's Exhibit 6.
I do.
What is that?
It's a knitted, crocheted blanket that the hospital provided for Uriel Shock.
Is that to place her in, I guess?
It was to cover her up, to comfort.
And does that fairly and accurately depict that place that you saw that day?
It does.
Your Honor, the statement C10 or in State's Exhibit number 6 at this time.
Defense,
No objection.
admitted without objection. Number 6.
And finally, State's Exhibit, or second one, finally, State's Exhibit number 7, do you recognize that item?
I do.
What is that?
It's the little red or pink onesie that Uriel was wearing that day.
And does that fairly accurately depict the onesie as you saw it that day?
It does.
Your Honor, the statement C10 or State's Exhibit number 7 at this time.
Defense,
No objection.
admitted without objection. Number 7.
And finally, State's Exhibit number 8, would you please look at that?
I did.
What is that?
It's a little teddy bear.
And why was that photographed?
I don't know why I photographed it, but I put it in with Uriel before I zipped up her body bag.
Is that something that was with her?
It was.
And is that a fair and accurate depiction of what you saw that day?
It is.
Statement C10 or State's Exhibit number 8.
Defense, no objection of relevance. Sidebar.
They're giving him a moment to pause to compose himself. Here at the Lithuanian jury box, you know, we are aware of the triggering situation. We definitely give group hugs up in here. That's what you're seeing in the chat.
Consider that as a, which is the teddy bear.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would like to just publish State's Exhibits 4 through 7.
All right.
And
Go
please
ahead
let me-
and, hang on a sec. Go ahead and publish. Go ahead and give me number 8, please. We have 8.
Yes.
Now publishing State's Exhibit number 4. And once again, sir, what was this?
That is Uriel Shock in the hospital.
State's Exhibit number 5. And once again, sir,
That is her little clenched hand as she was laying on the bed in the hospital.
State's Exhibit number 6.
That is the hand crocheted blanket that some of the hospital staff had.
And state's exhibit number 7.
That is Uriel Shock's onesie that she was wearing the day of the incident.
All right, so please, when you're done with those exhibits, we'll give them to the clerk.
Yes, Your Honor. Did you do anything further at the hospital, sir?
Yes.
What else?
As the family arrived, I unzipped the body bag and tried to make it a little presentable so they could say their goodbyes.
Okay. And following that, sir?
I contacted the medical examiner and was advised by him to have Uriel Shock sent up to him.
So went to the medical examiner's office?
She did.
She did, yeah. Following making sure that Uriel went to the medical examiner, what was your next step in this case, sir?
I interviewed the 3 ladies that had lunch with Miss Nix at the Beef O'Brady's.
And who would that be?
If I can look at my notes.
If you need to refresh recollection, please do so, then look up when you're ready.
Okay. One of the ladies was Judy Terrell. The second lady was Miss Brenda Knight. And the third lady was Barbara Knight.
And as far as this case, I guess you conducted a couple more interviews. Is that correct? Of some people?
I did.
Who else did you interview in the case?
Her sister, Kayla's sister, the mother of Uriel Shock, and her brother-in-law.
Okay. And who was that? Refresh your recollection, sir, and look up.
Kayla's sister is Rebecca, and the brother-in-law's name is Jonathan Tucker.
And sir, does that conclude your involvement in the case?
It does.
Thank you, sir. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Defense Cross?
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
You indicated that when you first got there that you saw Nay Nix.
I did.
Okay, do you know him?
I do.
Okay, and how long have you known him?
I don't know him personally. I just know of him personally.
Know of him.
Yes.
And what was he doing?
He was on his knees in the grass and he was crying.
Okay. And you indicated that you saw Tracy Nix also.
I did.
And what was she doing?
She was walking around. She was hysterical, frantic. She wasn't screaming. She was just, you can tell when somebody is not normal walking around in a frantic state.
Okay. Anything else that you noticed about Tracy Nix?
Nothing other than that. I was there a brief time.
All right. And you never saw her go behind the barn?
Look at my notes to see. No, I never seen her go behind the barn.
Thank you. I have no further questions, John.
All right, regret?
No, Your Honor.
All right. May this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay. Thank you, officer. You're excused from your screen. You can go wherever you need.
Yes, sir.
All right, state, call the next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. State you call Detective Shane Ward.
Okay, and he come to the detective.
Come on out and get sworn in.
So we heard from the first responders. We found out that the baby had already went into rigor mortis. We just kind of can assume that by the fact that they sent this lieutenant or this officer out there to the hospital to take pictures so quickly that they was already knowing they was going to open an investigation. And so now we have approaching the stand of the detective. Okay. Yeah, sidebar. He complains about his stomach every day. Why he slammed those glasses like that? Well, you can tell a detective, huh? All right, I understand as detective.
Please state your name, sir.
I'm Detective Shane Ward.
How are you employed, sir?
I'm employed as a detective with the Hardy County Sheriff's Office
And how long have you been employed there?
since March of 2006.
And you said your current duties are detective?
I'm currently a detective. Yes.
What's a detective do?
Investigate persons and property crimes.
And is your position the same now as it was back in November of 2022?
Yes.
I want to take your focus and attention back to November 1st of 2022. Did you become involved in the death investigation of Uriel Shock?
I did.
How did you become involved, sir?
Upon being notified of the call, I did respond to the scene of the incident.
And what was the scene of the incident?
I believe it came in as an unresponsive infant.
Oh, I mean, where was it?
Where was it? The address was 1478 Kazan Road in Wauchula, Hardy County.
And is that a residence?
Yes, sir.
Do you know whose residence that is?
That is the residence of Miss Nix, Mr. and Mrs. Nix.
And so do you know approximately when you got out there?
My approximate time, the EMS, I believe, had just left or had just arrived. So it was right around the time of EMS arrival. And I have that documented right around 5:06 p.m.
5:06 p.m. Okay.
Approximately, yes, sir.
And so what did you observe when you got to the property?
I observed Mrs. Nix's 2019 Lexus SUV parked in the backyard. Her husband, Mr. Nix, was also still present at that time. And Mrs. Nix was also still present on the property at that time. I believe there was a car seat laying next to the vehicle. That's pretty much my independent recollection of what I initially observed.
And you said it was what were the vehicles again? I'm sorry.
Her vehicle, I believe, was a 2019 Lexus SUV.
And were there any other vehicles or?
There were more vehicles on the property, I believe. I don't have an independent recollection of exactly what vehicles or where they were positioned on the property without reviewing photos.
Did you notice a lawnmower or?
I believe there was, yes, sir, a lawnmower next to a barn, really close to the vehicle.
Any observations that you made about the vehicle?
The Lexus. Nothing significant that I can recall about the vehicle.
Okay. And so what did you do once you get on the scene, you're assessing the situation? What was the next step you took, sir?
I did speak with Mr. Nix and just asked for an explanation of what had happened, asked him to kind of recreate what he did, what he saw. There was also some people working on their roof at the time. Several workers had been working on the roof that were there when this all happened. So I proceeded to also identify them and speak with them and see if they saw anything that was pertinent to our investigation.
Okay. And so you interviewed them and you interviewed Mr. Nix. What else did you do while you were out there, sir?
After speaking with Mr. Nix, my primary responsibility at the scene was to draft and execute a search warrant for the vehicle and the premises, the property.
Was that the vehicle we're talking about? Was that the Lexus?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is that what you did, sir?
Yes, sir.
And so did you participate in the search of that vehicle at all?
I did. Yes, sir.
Was it more of a?
It was more of a observing.
I understand. And so you drafted the search warrant. You ensured the vehicle was provided, support in the search of the vehicle. What else, if anything, did you do after that, sir?
We also, made sure that the vehicle, we did bring it back to the sheriff's office, secured it at the sheriff's office, the secure facility at the end of the evening when we were finishing up our search of the property. I also, in this case, I did draft and execute a search warrant for Mrs. Nix's phone. And I also assisted by obtaining surveillance video from the Beef O'Brady's restaurant where she was at lunch that afternoon with the victim.
So I guess you received information that the Beef O'Brady's might have video of that?
I did, and I believe Detective Samandel, Detective Fletcher actually, she requested that I assist her and get that video.
And is she the one that was kind of leading up the investigation?
She eventually was the case agent, yes, sir.
Okay. And what is a case agent, just so we...
She's the primary detective or investigator assigned to the case. So she makes sure that basically is in charge of the case, organizing the case, logistics and things like that.
So following the video, any other further involvement in the case? Did you interview anyone else?
I did. I believe I spoke with her daughter on scene that day, Rebecca Tucker.
Okay. And so you spoke with her also?
I spoke with her as well as Mr. Nix on scene.
Okay, sir. Any further involvement?
Nothing that I can recall.
Well, in that case, sir, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Okay.
Lieutenant, Cross?
Good afternoon.
Good.
You indicated you talked to Mr. Nix at the scene,
Yes, sir.
and what was his state of mind?
As far as me personally characterizing his state of mind, he seemed to be in shock.
Okay. And you indicated you drafted a search warrant for, I think, the vehicle as well as the phone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was Mr. Nix cooperative with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you ever talk with Mrs. Nix?
I don't have any recollection of speaking with Mrs. Nix in any substantive manner.
Was she at the scene?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know if she was cooperative with law enforcement?
From everything that I've observed throughout this case, she was cooperative.
Okay. And you didn't ask either one of them for permission to search the vehicle as opposed to getting a search warrant?
I did not.
Okay. Is that for, say, safety reasons or just being extra careful?
In a situation like that, we'll always get a search warrant
Because of the nature of the case?
because of the nature of the case.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And would that also apply to the search of the phone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, even though they were cooperative with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me see. You wrote a fairly long report. None of the people on the roof noticed anything out of the ordinary?
They had been working on the roof all afternoon. They had not really been paying attention to anything going on the ground. They did not have anything pertinent to provide to the case.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, so maybe I was wrong about the garage, but I could have sworn she said put the car in the garage.
Yes, sir.
All right, Lieutenant, you agree?
I'll wait.
Fletcher, do you agree to release?
I'm sorry, yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Detective, you're free to go, you're released from your certificate.
But let's say the car was not in the garage and just parked in the driveway. You know, the roofers, shoot, they trying to, it's hot as it can be on that roof. On top of that, with that tar messing with them shingles and stuff. If it was 90-something degrees, you already know they was up there hot trying to get that work done. Okay, they wasn't doing too much looking around, spectating, looking in people's car, none of that. So I can kind of understand that, you know, and I ain't gonna give the roofers too much work. You know, because they up there roofing. And then you got to think about the fact that the roofers have to think about safety. You know, so no, they're not probably looking around at a lot of different stuff, you know. We're going to get into more information about, you know, when we first listened to this, I wasn't prepared as I didn't think we was going to do a trial watch. We got invested. So that's how we ended up actually watching the full trial, which is good. But I didn't even take any notes or anything. Okay, let me fast forward it. The magic of YouTube and technology.
Take a 5-minute stretch break, just very limited, okay? Just give us some time to get some
And how long have you been at the?
I missed her name. So this got to be the lead detective. This is the second case in a week's time that we have noted, that we have seen the lead detective be a female. Shout out for women's empowerment, right? Because in the Jarvis Butts preliminary hearing, the lead detective on that case was a female as well. Have they shown the house? I think they showed an overview picture, an overhead picture, like an aerial picture. Um, yeah, I think that's the only thing they've shown. They haven't shown like a picture of the car in the driveway or any of that kind of stuff, or pictures of the car, pictures of the car seat. They have not shown any of that.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes, please, go ahead. Thank you.
Please state your name for the record.
Kim Pfeiffer,
And how are you employed?
detective at the Hardy County Sheriff's Office.
And if you could please speak up a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. And how long have you been at the Hardy County Sheriff's Office?
Just shy of 23 years.
What are your current duties?
I'm a detective and crime scene.
Well, I want to focus on the second part. What do you mean? What is crime scene?
Whenever there is a crime, then they will call out crime scene to come and process the scene.
So what types of things, when you say process, I think we have a good understanding, but I just want to be clear. What do you
We
mean by
might see
process?
pictures with her.
We'll go and take measurements. We will photograph. If we need to get DNA samples, we'll swab, fingerprint, that type of thing.
Okay. So it sounds like collecting evidence type stuff.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. And I'm sorry, how long have you been doing that for?
Probably about 5 years.
Okay,
So
I
let me
might have
ask you
spoke
this.
too soon. She might not be the
Uh,
lead.
Were your duties the same or similar back on November 1st of 2022?
I was in crime scene in 2022, but I wasn't a detective at that time.
Okay. So you're just doing all those duties you talked about earlier.
Okay, so she wasn't the lead detective, but it's still shout out to the lead detectives because the
Is
dude
that more
already
of a
told her she
supportive
was a
role for the
woman.
detectives and the other officers, or?
At times, yes.
Okay. Well, let me ask you why you're here today. On November 1st of 2022, did you become involved in the death investigation of Uriel Shock?
Yes, I did.
How did you become involved?
I was requested to respond to Kazan Road to process the crime scene.
And Kazan Road is where?
I'm sorry, it's in Wauchula. It's where the incident occurred.
Okay. And so do you remember when you got out there?
If it's okay, refer to my notes.
Of course. Refresh your recollection and look up when you're ready.
It was about 6:15.
And so what was your role going to be in this investigation?
My role was to photograph the area, the house, the residence, and where the scene was.
Okay. And is that what you did in this case?
Yes, it is.
And do you actually go through the property and take photographs?
I did.
What time did you actually start taking photographs though?
It was at approximately 8:05.
Okay. So was it dark at that time?
It was.
Were you still able to take photographs though?
I was.
Okay. I'm showing you what's been pre-marked as State's Exhibit 9 through 27. Okay. What I would like you to do is we're going to take this one at a time. All right. So if you would first grab State's Exhibit number 9, please.
They're in order.
They are in order, Your Honor. Yes.
It's also on the back.
Yes, Your Honor. And the label will be on the back on each photo. Do you recognize State's Exhibit number 9?
I do.
What is that?
This is the address, the mailbox
And
for the residents,
what was the purpose of taking that photograph?
to show where we were at, the numerical.
Your Honor, at this time, state would seek to enter State's Exhibit number 9.
Defense? No objection, Your Honor. Admit without objection.
And the state would like to publish as we admit each one.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Your Honor. And you said this was?
It was the mailbox. That's the numerical where it occurred.
Okay. And so could you go to, what was the purpose of the photo?
To show where the incident was at.
And so would you turn to State's Exhibit number 10? And what is that?
This is the front of the residence.
And is that a fair and accurate depiction of the front of the residence?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, state and seek to enter in State's Exhibit number 10.
Do that. Submit without objection.
And now publishing, Your Honor. State's Exhibit number 10. And let me ask you this, is it just the residence on this property?
There's just a residence. There's a barn in the back.
Okay, I
Of the
meant,
property.
was this the only structure on the
Oh,
property?
yes, yes, it was on structure. Besides the
also-
barn.
But there was also a barn.
Yes.
Okay. Look at State's Exhibit number 11, please. What is that?
This is the front of the residence.
Once again, is it from a different angle, I guess?
Yes.
And is that a fair and accurate depiction of what you saw that night?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, State would seek to enter in State's Exhibit number 11.
Okay.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, admitted without objection, number 11.
Now publishing. Would you please take a look at State's Exhibit number 12? What is that?
This is the front of the residence, but it's the driveway to where the garage would go into.
Okay.
So
Are-
it's
And what's your goal when you're taking all these photos?
just to show like the like the description of where it occurred at, what it looked like the day of the incident.
Okay. And once again, we're talking about State's Exhibit number 12.
Yes.
And is that a fair and accurate depiction of what you saw that?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, the State would seek to enter in at this time State's Exhibit number 12.
Defense?
Judge, I don't have any objection, and I believe the same time, I don't object to any of the photos.
Okay, so State's Exhibits 9 through 27 come in without defendant's objection, correct?
27, is that many? I didn't realize it was that many.
9 through 27. Here's the 18. Do you agree?
9 through 27, yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, all admitted without objection. Publish as you wish.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll just publish as we go then, and we'll talk about each photo. So if you would, that was State's Exhibit 12 we were just talking about, correct?
Yes.
All right, let me get there first. So again, there's some reflective things in the background there. What is that?
That's the dump trailer from where they were working on the roof that day.
So there's roof work going on?
There wasn't when I got there.
No, I meant,
But
but
yes.
that's the reason for that. Okay. Would you now turn to State's Exhibit 13? What do we look
This is the garage
of the home?
of the home, yes.
Okay.
Can we see the
State's
pictures,
Exhibit number
ma'am?
14, what are we looking at here?
This is the more of the picture of the dump trailer where it was at. So we're just kind of like slowly taking the picture like that.
Are you giving us a reference of where that is in to the garage?
To the garage, it's just north of the garage on the side of the house.
State's Exhibit 15?
This is another picture. of
Okay, so
the
they gotta
trailer
do
that's
all
in the
this
back of the yard.
before they enter them into
Yeah,
the
so
deal
it's
and
going
publish
to the
them, so we can see them.
16?
This is the back of the house.
DA says just to lighten the moment, but that defense attorney has one hell of an install working on his head today. Yes, indeed. Okay,
State's Exhibit number 17.
the defense attorney been
So
through
this
some
is the
things. Okay,
driveway. This is now
Period.
we're facing
I
south toward the road where the mailbox was.
And the home
don't understand why they don't put all these pictures into evidence before the trial, but hey, they got their reasons.
State's Exhibit 18.
So this is the backyard. This is where we're facing north, and it's the fence that kind of divides the backyard from, because there's a barn. So there's a barn right behind that fence. You can, and there's a vehicle. You can kind of see the reflection in there.
Okay, but so now where you're standing? Are you standing at the house looking back?
Yes.
State's Exhibit number 19?
So I am now on the other side of the fence facing south toward the house.
So now you're looking back at the house.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
State's Exhibit number 20?
This is another picture facing that way.
State's Exhibit 21?
This is the red Lexus and the lawnmower. This is on the other side of the fence facing north, where they said the incident occurred at.
So would this be on, I guess, we're calling it the barn garage side?
Yes, on the side of the fence, yes, where the barn is.
State's Exhibit 22?
This is a picture of the car seat with the lawnmower in the car.
And the car seat's on the
The
ground?
car seat is on the ground.
State's Exhibit 23.
It's another angle. You get more of the car in this angle with a lawnmower in the car seat.
And I guess this would be in line with the rear passenger side,
Yes, sir.
or excuse me, rear
A
driver's side.
driver's side.
State's Exhibit 24.
This is the car seat with a pink headband.
State's Exhibit 25.
This is the passenger side of the red vehicle.
And once again, can we also see
You can see the car seat.
Lord, we don't hurry up and get to showing us these pictures. I should have fast forwarded.
State's Exhibit 26?
This shows the barn area where the car was parked in relation to the barn.
So this is the barn garage that we were talking about earlier?
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit number 27.
And this is the barn.
Does your honor want them? Thank you. So you went through, you took your pictures, you documented the area. What, if anything else, did you do while you were out at the property?
We took measurements from the barn to the vehicle.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you want me to refer to the, no, okay. All I do is just from the barn, from the north side or southeast side of the barn, we took measurements from that corner to the front passenger side tire and to the back passenger side tire from the north and the southeast of the barn.
And what's the purpose? Let me ask you this. Is this standard procedure to take measurements when you're at a scene?
It is. It's standard procedure.
Was there any reason to believe that these measurements were used in the investigation in any way?
No, sir.
But is it something that you would do regardless?
We would still do it, yes, just in case we needed to reenact the scene.
Okay. Anything else that you did in this case while you were there?
No, sir.
Did you retrieve any evidence?
The evidence was secured. There were 3 pieces of evidence that we did seize, and we put them into, at the time, I believe he was a detective, but Sergeant Alvarez's vehicle, to secure them, and then I retrieved them back.
And who
Into
actually
the
collected
sheriff's
that
office.
evidence, though?
I'm sorry.
And who actually collected that?
It was Miss Wallace.
But you at least participated in the fact that you helped to make sure it was
Yes.
secure and that type. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I have no further questions.
I have no question, John. Thank you.
All right. May you get excused, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
November 1st. Actually, collected that?
It was Miss Wallace.
All right. But you at least participated in the fact that you helped to make sure it was
Yes.
secure and that type. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I have no further questions.
All right.
I have no question, John. Thank you.
All right. May you get excused, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Maybe excuse your release. Just give me a second. Okay, who's your next witness?
Amanda Wallace, Your Honor.
All right, let's bring in Ms. Wallace. Come on up and we'll get you sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Sam, you're gonna step this way for me, please?
Mr. Coleman, you still have your TV on if you need it.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm going to need it for,
This one?
thank you. May I proceed?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Coleman.
Please state your name for the record.
Amanda Wallace.
And how are you employed, Ms. Wallace?
I am currently employed by the Wauchula Police Department as the evidence and crime scene technician.
And I think we've heard a little bit about crime scene technician's duties. How long have you been doing that for?
With the Wauchula Police Department, almost 2 years.
And what about previously?
A year with the Hardy County Sheriff's Office.
And were your duties the same there?
Yes,
Now, your year with the Hardy County Sheriff's Office, would that also encompass the date of November 1st of 2022?
yes.
And on November 1st of 2022, did you become involved in the death investigation of Uriel Shock?
Yes.
And I think you've kind of already given us an idea, but what was your involvement?
I collected evidence directed by law enforcement that they wanted seized.
And would that be physical items?
Yes.
And how about photographs?
I did not take photographs at the scene. That was done by Detective Pfeiffer.
But I meant in the case you took photographs.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's talk about how did you become involved in this investigation?
I was contacted by Captain Drake to respond to 1478 Kazan Road in regards to a death investigation.
And if you could speak up just a little bit. And so do you know what time you got out there?
I arrived on scene at 1951 hours.
So help us out there, those of us that are not familiar with military time.
It would be 7:51 p.m.
And thank you, ma'am. And so what was going on when you got out there?
Whenever I arrived, law enforcement was there. I was briefed by Detective Alvarez. He advised
So
me
who
to
she work
stand
for?
by as they were waiting
I
on
had a
search
call.
warrant.
Dang.
So I stood and waited.
Okay. And after you stood by and waited for a bit, what was the first of your duties that you performed while you're out at the property?
I was teamed up with Detective Pfeiffer and walked along with her while photographs were taken of the area. And then I assisted her with taking measurements of the car to the barn and also taking measurements of the car seat to the car. And I seized a headband and a car seat.
Okay. And well, let's talk about that for a moment, okay? I'm showing you what's been pre-marked at State's Exhibit number 57. Have you seen that item?
Yes,
What is that item?
it's one pink headband bow.
And you can hold it down. Hold it down. And how do you recognize that item?
Well, this is the packaging that I placed it in. These are my initials with the seal, and I recognize it from the seal.
Does it appear to be in the same or substantially same condition as when you last saw it?
Yes,
Your Honor, at this time, state would seek to enter into evidence State's Exhibit number 57.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, please.
Oh, I showed it to you already.
Yeah, but the way she say police enforcement, I think she might be with the medical. I thought maybe she was with a different branch.
And what was the other item that you collected along with the headband?
it was
Thank
a
you for-
gray and pink infant car seat.
No, definitely collecting evidence. Definitely. Oh Lord, they finna pull out the car seat.
I'm showing you it's been pre-marked as State's Exhibit number 58, and I may need the assistance because we're not allowed to have.
Scissors or not. Not available.
I don't know why we don't get to see the pictures in this court, but hey.
Yes, absolutely, sir. Thank you.
You put that.
And you may have to stand, and that's perfectly okay. But if you would, if you could, let me help.
Yes,
You recognize that?
yes.
Wow, this court, you don't see any of the evidence.
And what is that item?
That is a car seat for an infant.
And is that the car seat that you collected that night?
Yes, it is.
And how do you recognize that item?
I recognize the item from the way that it looks, and also on that box, it has my evidence label and my initials on the evidence label.
Does the car seat that you collected that night and we saw here today appear to be in the same or substantially same condition as when you collected?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, state your seat data and state exhibit number 58.
Defense, any objection? Yes, sir. Admit without objection, 58, car seat. Ms. Watson.
We're going to volunteer for Ms. Wallace. And briefly, Your Honor, if you'll indulge me, I'll publish it to the jury.
Take your time.
I will note that the previous exhibit is packaged in plastic and can be easily viewed.
If you need that at this time, I'll have to bear with you.
And this is the car.
Oh, there you go. They
Yes.
pulled it
on
out.
the ground we saw before.
Yes.
Wow, that's a tiny car seat. But the baby was 7 months old at the time of this crime. Baby was left in the car seat in a hot car over 90 degrees for hours.
And so what did you do with these items?
Once they were seized, I secured them in Detective Alvarez's vehicle and turned them over to the custody of Detective Pfeiffer, and I returned to the Hardy County Sheriff's Office.
And when you got back to the Hardy County Sheriff's Office, did you continue to perform some of your duties?
Yes.
What was the next thing you did in this case, ma'am?
At that time, I accepted the Lexus vehicle into the evidence room that was brought in by Robert's Metro Towing.
I'm sorry?
It was brought in by the tow truck.
Okay. And so you received the vehicle.
Yes.
What was the next step, ma'am?
Once the vehicle was brought in, I waited for Detective Pfeiffer to return. She brought those items to me. I secured them into the evidence room and locked the evidence room and set the alarm.
And what about a onesie? Did you ever receive that into this case?
I did. That was received the following day.
Okay, and we'll come to that in a moment. So what was the next step that you took in this case?
For that night, that was the end of that.
Well, then let's talk about that. Did you do anything with the onesie that was collected in this case?
Whenever I received the onesie, it was still damp. So I placed it into the dry safe that is in
Wow.
the evidence room
Pause.
and dried it.
Pause. We have got to pause. Okay. Absolutely. We got to pause. We got to pause because she just said that she received the onesie the following day. And when she received the onesie the following day, the onesie was still wet. Wet to the point, damp to the point where they had to put it in a drying room. Mind you, the wetness of the onesie is directly due to the baby having sweated that much in that hot car she was left in for hours.
And once it was dried, I then packaged it.
Okay, so you had to dry it before you could package it?
Correct.
Now, Let's talk about the Lexus. Did you participate in that search?
Yes.
What was your role in that?
I photographed the vehicle and items inside the vehicle, and then I seized items as directed.
And let me ask you this. You said you photographed the vehicle
Yes.
and you photographed the items that were in the vehicle.
Yes.
Did you also collect a white blanket and a diaper bag?
Yes.
Let's start out with the photos. I'm presenting to you items that have been pre-marked States Exhibits 28 through 45. Okay? We're going to take them one at a time. If you look, they're labeled on the back. Okay? Please look at States Exhibit 28.
Welcome back.
What is that?
This is a red, maroon, and color Lexus SUV.
And is that the vehicle that was searched?
Yes.
And is that a fair and accurate depiction of that vehicle?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, state would seek to enter into evidence States Exhibit 28.
Defense? Any objections? Admit without objection.
Now publishing.
Yes, please, publish 28.
Please look at States Exhibit 29. What is that?
This is the rear seat of the.
Oh Lord, there's some more pictures we
maroon
not gonna
colored
be able to
Lexus.
see. Because
Is that
if
fairly
so,
accurate
she gonna get
depiction of
fast forward.
Yes.
Your Honor, state would seek to enter in States Exhibit 29.
I didn't understand what she said.
This is the rear seat to the Lexus vehicle.
All right, admit without objection.
Not she getting the attitude. Girl, they done told you to talk up 2-3 times, girl.
What do we see here?
I
Yes.
fast forward a little bit to the next piece of evidence we can see. Let me stop fast forwarding.
Publish as needed.
Showing you it's been pre-marked at State Exhibit number 60. It is in a plastic bag, so you can't take it out, okay? Please take a look at that item. Did you stand up, please do so. Do you recognize that item?
Yes.
What is that
Yeah,
item?
That is the diaper bag that was located in that.
we gonna take
Yeah,
a
it's kinda
collect.
like-
I'm gonna go ahead and make an executive decision
I
to
recognize
fast
it.
forward because they're not even showing them stuff. Okay. Again, welcome to Trial Watch with Demetra. one of our characteristics over here is we a little bit impatient. Okay. Just a little bit, not too much. We're also intelligent, outspoken, sometimes boisterous, unapologetic, opinionated. That's some of the descriptives of the Lit Lane jury box so far. All right, moving right along to another witness. Look like law enforcement. Let's see what he has to offer. And don't be recklessly eyeballing me, Winter. I'm gonna be quiet. I was getting out the box. I know that's why you dropped them eyeballs.
Say your
Oh
name, sir.
Lord, I think I might have messed up.
Alvarez.
And what is your employment?
I'm a deputy sheriff with the Hardy County Sheriff's Office.
And what are your current duties, sir?
Right now, I'm a sergeant in the patrol division.
No, it's okay.
And how about back in November of 2022? What was your duties then?
I was a detective with our street crimes unit.
On November 1st of 2022, did you become involved in a death investigation of the Uriel shot?
Yes.
How did you become involved, sir?
I heard across the radio the dispatch come out of this call for service, responded to the address on Kazan Road, and upon my arrival, that's when I got involved with the case.
And what was going on when you arrived at the scene, sir?
When I arrived, I parked somewhere in the front yard. I can't recall exactly.
Welcome
where.
to the box.
Then I walked towards
Watching
the
from the Cloud9.
towards, I believe it was like a shed or a barn or something.
And what was going on in that area?
In that area, I seen a red SUV and a pickup truck. there was a gentleman that was distressed. He was upset. I walk around back and I see two detectives speaking to Tracy Nix. And at that point, she was upset speaking to the detectives. From there, I walked to the front and did other things at that point.
Okay. What was the, as far as what other things are you referring to?
So from there, I went and I was instructed to translate for Detective Ward. There were some workers on the roof that were working during this prior to our arrival. And I interviewed or assisted in translating, interviewing for different workers.
So as he's asking the questions, you're just translating, and I'm assuming, do you speak Spanish, sir?
Yes, sir.
And is that what you were doing?
Yes.
Okay. And were you translating for his questions to them?
Correct.
And how about their responses?
Correct. Yep. I was translating back. Yes.
Okay. And then what else, if anything, did you do in this case as far as the investigation was concerned?
I also assisted in interviewing Kayla Shock. And Lieutenant Nicholson was also present there. And I just stood by the rest of the scene.
And I believe maybe some items were stored in your vehicle also?
I cannot recall that. I know it was in a report, but I cannot recall myself.
Okay. Other than that, sir, did you have any further involvement in this case?
Not that I recall, no, sir.
All right. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Again, this was a 2-day trial, you guys. It ended
Good
yesterday.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You indicated when you got there, you saw a gentleman who was upset. And who was that gentleman?
I think it's pronounced New Nix.
Last name was Nix.
Correct.
I'll say, at least compared to you, an older gentleman.
Correct.
Okay. And you said he was upset. Can you be specific for the jury?
I do recall that he was crying. And I believe he was near a pickup truck, I think it was, or one of the vehicles that were in the back, but he was crying that I can recall.
Okay. And had EMS gotten there then?
I believe they were gone at that time.
They're already gone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then I think you mentioned Mrs. Nix by name.
Correct.
Okay. And you said she was upset.
Yes.
Can you be specific? How do you know she was upset?
I do believe she was crouched down as detectives were trying to talk to her, consult her. She was, I know she was crying as well.
And you know what detective who was trying to console her?
Yes, at the time it was Detective Samandel, with now Detective Fletcher and Detective Ward.
You said they were consoling her?
Yeah, they were trying to.
Okay. And I think you indicated you interviewed Kayla Shock. Is that correct?
Correct.
That's not the mother of the child.
Correct.
Well, who is Kayla?
All right.
I wonder who Kayla is, because Tracy is the defendant. Rebecca is the sister. I thought Kayla was the mama.
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor. All right, sir, you release Mr. Again. Go back to the business.
All right, moving right along.
State, next witness.
Statement called Detective Alice Fletcher.
Okay, well, I'll let it go. They're getting them up there fast. What's the wrong with the back of her neck? What's the marks on the back of her neck? Oh, probably from the shell. And there go our defendant, the Grannny, on trial for manslaughter. Left 7-month-old Uriel, her granddaughter, in the car for several hours. 90+ degree temperatures. Engine off, windows up. After having just interacted with the baby at lunch. If you're just joining us in the cloud, please hit the like and thank you for coming. And please subscribe if you're not already.
Please state your name for the record.
Alice Fletcher,
And how are you employed?
as a detective with the Hardy County Sheriff's Office,
And how long have you been with the Hardy County Sheriff's Office?
about 12 years.
What are your current duties, ma'am?
I currently serve in the Criminal Investigations Division as a detective.
What's the Criminal Investigations Division?
We investigate crimes, specifically more felonies.
And how long have you been doing that for?
About 5 years.
Okay, sorry about that. I think I already asked you that. And are you, so that would, it'd be safe to say that your duties now are very similar to back in November 1st of 2022.
Correct.
Is your name the same?
No.
Okay, what was it back then?
Alice Samandel.
So if we've heard Samandel throughout this, they're talking about you.
Correct.
What is your name now?
Fletcher.
All right. Now, on November 1st of 2022, did you become involved in the death investigation of Uriel Shock?
I did.
How did you become involved?
A call came out over the radio of a cardiac arrest at 1478 Kazan Road at about 5 p.m. on November 1st of 2022. So I jumped up and reported to the residents.
And I think we've already covered this, but I just want to make sure that address is at where, what city is that in?
Wauchula, Florida,
And what county?
Hardy County.
Now, you said approximately 5 p.m. Is that what you said?
Correct.
When did you get out there?
I got out there as soon as the call came out. I responded. So shortly after the call came out is whenever I arrived.
And
Pause. I just got to say this, right? Every time I pause, I just got to say something. But anywho, I sure would have wanted to hear the testimony. I would have liked to hear the testimony from these same law enforcement, from the same CSI, from the same EMTs. I would have loved to hear them question, did you answer the call from a previous incident? Can you describe it? What were your thoughts when you received the call, when you recognized the same people, the same house from that previous deceased baby, or that baby drowning just 7 months earlier? I would have loved to have heard. I mean, this is all tragic, but all things being said, I would have loved to have heard their testimony about that. Because some of these folks had to have been at the first scene. Just a thought.
were you working that day?
I was.
You remember what the weather was like back then?
I do.
What was the weather
Me
like?
either, pretty glow.
It was hot.
And
I
welcome watching.
recall being on scene outside and sweating, and temperatures were reportedly in the 90s that day.
Now, what was going on when you arrived? Well, let me ask you this. I think it's been covered, but I just want to make sure. Do you know whose property that was that you went out to?
I later learned whose property that was.
Well, after being there.
Correct.
Okay. Whose property was that?
Tracy Nix and her husband, Nay Nix.
Okay. So what was going on when you arrived on scene?
When I arrived on scene, the ambulance was already there and several other units were already there. So I immediately learned from other officers on scene that Uriel had been left in a car and was currently in the care of rescue team. So I went and observed Nay Nix, who appeared really distraught next to a vehicle on the north side of the residence in a pasture. He said he couldn't find his wife, Tracy. So I went and started looking for her.
So you tried to help him find Tracy?
I did.
And that's Tracy Nix.
Tracy Nix, correct.
Is the person you know as Tracy Nix in the courtroom today?
She is.
Could you identify her by an article of clothing she is wearing?
Yes. She is wearing a maroon, black and white, multicolored dress.
Let the record reflect that the witnesses identified the defendant.
Record so reflects.
Now, let me ask you this. At the Hardy County Sheriff's Office, you're issued, I guess, various equipment, correct?
Correct.
Is there a certain type of equipment that you were wearing that day that might have captured some of the events you're telling us about?
Yes.
What is that?
Body worn camera.
And what is that? I think pretty much everyone knows what it is this day and age, but what is that?
It's a small box that we wear on our uniform. And when we interact with the public, we activate it. It has voice as well as visual recording properties to it. We typically leave that activated through our interactions with the public, and then we later submit those for evidence, just for record keeping.
Okay.
We need to see
you have
that.
on this day.
I did.
When you were just describing the scene that you walked in on, did your camera catch what you were talking about?
It did.
Now, you said you were trying to help Mr. Nix try to locate the defendant, Tracy Nix. Is that correct?
Correct.
Can we pick up from there?
Correct.
Were you able to locate her?
We were.
Okay. And where was she?
She was located on the west side of the barn, which is on the north side of the property, north of the residence.
And I think we've heard a little bit about the property, but there's a house and also what else on this property?
Like a barn.
All right. And so she was behind that.
Yes,
And did you speak with her?
I did.
Is the exchange that you had with her also captured on that body worn camera?
It is.
Rather than go through what the nature of that discussion is, let's take a look at that. Okay.
Good. I was about to say, dang, we ain't gonna be able to see it, but we might be able to hear it. I'm gonna be quiet.
I'm showing you it's been pre-marked as State's Exhibit number 56. You recognize that?
I do.
And what is that?
This is the evidence entry of my body worn camera from that day.
And does that appear to be and everything that's on here, is that a fair and accurate depiction of what you described and also your conversation with the defendant, Tracy McStanton?
It is.
Your Honor, at this time, state would seek to enter into evidence States 56.
Ms. Benson, objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
56, body worn camera admitted without objection. Publish if you wish.
And at this time, the state would request to publish State's Exhibit 56.
All right, let's go ahead and publish.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now publishing.
Party SO1. I got mine on. Is the ambulance already here? Where are they at? I don't know. Oh, they're in the back, y'all. Well, what's right here? Okay. Where's his wife? Okay. We might have on her. Is that her name, sir?
Tracy.
Tracy. Do you know where she could be?
No, I have no idea she was here.
We need to find her. Name's Tracy. We need to find Tracy. She's somewhere. No, he's got her. We're good.
I'm thinking that's got to be her running. The sounds of this officer like running.
Yeah, maybe how long it's been?
It's been up to 2 hours. I forgot my hammer. I took her out to lunch with some friends. And when I got back, I don't know even what I had on my mind, but I didn't get her out of the car and I didn't think about it again until I was getting ready to get my other grandson and take him out to dinner. And all of a sudden,
I understand. Okay. Okay.
I need to drive in my car. I need to go somewhere. I can't do this.
It's hard to be
I
right.
cannot do this.
I understand. Well, we also don't want to get in their way, so we're just gonna stay right here for right now, okay? Does anyone notify?
I can't do this.
Okay,
I don't want to be here when she comes. I can't do this.
okay.
I'm going to get in my car. I need to just go somewhere.
Well,
Unless you're going to arrest
I need to get a statement from you though, okay? Are you okay to do a statement? Do you want to go back to the sheriff's office and sit with me? Would that be better? I can't let you drive like this.
I cannot stay here.
Do you want to get in my car?
I cannot stay here.
I
I have to go.
So is that okay? If you get in my car and just go with me?
I don't want to face anyone.
Okay.
I can't face my daughter. I can't do it. I cannot do it. I cannot. I cannot.
How can I help you right now?
I don't know. I need to get in my car and go somewhere. If you need to take a statement, do it now. Unless you're going to arrest me.
Is your vehicle close by or no? Okay. Look, would it be easier then if you sat in the Ward's vehicle?
I cannot be here when she gets here. I cannot do it.
Do we want to sit at the table inside or?
I can't.
She don't want to be
I
here.
can't be here.
We can't let her drive this. It would be irresponsible.
Let me drive to the sheriff's office and you follow me. And then I
take you and we'll bring you back?
Yes.
But yeah, we'll do that.
I don't want you driving in this.
Not at all, okay? But let's
Then I may leave from the sheriff's department.
absolutely. But let's get you out of here for now. Let's do that.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and rewind it for you guys so y'all can hear what she said again. But she's referring to when she says that she wanted to, she came out to take the other kid to go eat dinner. It was her grandson, Aiden. We learned that from the testimony of Rebecca, her other daughter. But we're going to rewind it.
I can't let you drive like this.
Okay, y'all, listen close. I'm going to cut it up too.
Is that her name, sir?
Tracy.
Tracy, do you know where she could be?
No, I have no idea she was here.
We need to find her. Name's Tracy. We need to find Tracy. She's somewhere. No, he's got her. We're good. Tracy, do you have any idea maybe how long it's been?
It's been up to 2 hours. I forgot my powder.
Okay.
I took her out to lunch with some friends. And when I got back, I don't know even what I had on my mind, but I didn't get her out of the car and I didn't think about it again until I was getting ready to get my other grandson and take him out to dinner. And all of a sudden, they told me that she was with me.
I understand. Okay. Okay.
I need to drive in my car. I need to go somewhere. I can't do this.
It's hard to be here.
I cannot do this.
I understand. Well, we also don't want to get in their way, so we're just gonna stay right here for right now, okay? Does anyone notified?
I can't do this.
Okay,
I don't want to be here when she comes. I can't do this.
okay.
I'm gonna get in my car. I need to just go somewhere.
Well,
Unless you're gonna arrest
I need to get a statement from you though, okay? Are you okay to do a statement? Do you want to go back to the sheriff's office and sit with me? Would that be better? I can't let you drive like this.
me. I cannot stay here.
Do you want to get in my car?
I cannot stay here.
I
have to go.
So is that okay? If you get in my car and just go with me?
I don't want to face anyone.
Okay.
I can't face my daughter. I can't do it. I cannot do it. I cannot. I cannot.
How can I help you right now?
I don't know. I need to get in my car and go somewhere. If you need to take a statement, do it now. You're going to arrest me.
Is your vehicle close by or no? Okay. Look, would it be easier then if you sat in Ward's vehicle?
I cannot be here when she gets here. I cannot do it.
So you want to sit at the table inside her?
I can't.
She don't want to
I
be
can't be
here.
here.
Like, we can't let her drive this. It would be irresponsible.
Well,
So,
let's go back to the
Let me drive to the sheriff's office and you follow me. And
Can
then
I take you and we'll bring you back?
yes.
but yeah, we'll do that.
Just 'cause I don't want you driving in this
Not
state.
at all, okay? But let's
But I may leave from the sheriff's department.
absolutely. But let's get you out of here for now. Let's do that, okay? Is that okay? Let's do that. Come on, Tracy. Let's go this way.
I cannot do this.
I understand.
I cannot. I cannot. I got to be gone before they come. I've got to be gone before they come.
Yeah. Tracy, are you okay to walk to the front or can?
Here's my car right there, the red one. I cannot do this. Tracy, please drive me. Take my car. I don't want to.
I can't drive your car, Tracy. We're gonna leave your car,
I
okay?
cannot. I don't want to come back here.
Stay right here with me.
I don't want to come back
I
here.
get that, but I can always have your husband come get you.
No, I don't want to come back here.
Okay,
I mean, I'm serious and I'm getting in my car and going somewhere.
yeah, do that. Okay, so for right this second,
I've got to be gone when she comes. I cannot do it.
I got you. Okay, I'm gonna have Ward take you, all right? We will figure something out for your vehicle. Don't worry about that right now. Right now, let's just worry about getting you out of here safely. Take care, we gotta take care of, okay? You can't go in your vehicle, Woody. She can't go in the vehicle.
I cannot do this.
call somebody else?
I called the one. Please, let's not stand here. Let's go somewhere. I don't want to be here.
We're getting people up there to make sure no one sees.
It's gonna be a run.
Why don't we just go ahead and get our identity phone?
That's what we're doing. Shane's getting his car and pulling it back. Yeah, that's, I don't
Can
be.
we just think about it?
What up, boy?
Text Captain Drake, let him know this call in case of where he's calling.
Please, please get me out of here. Please. Please, I don't want to be here.
Status included publishing States Unit 56.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, the department's approach briefly, please.
Without the full court,
I believe four quarter.
all right, full court approval. All right. All right. Members of the jury, you have heard and are about to hear more recordings. The court instructs you that the recordings, both of them, have been edited to eliminate irrelevant portions that would not add to your.
Look, they cut out the part about the grandson.
That the recording has been edited should not concern you in any way and must not impact the way you view and or hear and consider this evidence. Understand? All right, thank you.
They definitely cut out the grandson part.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's hard to listen to.
Detective, we just watched
I feel
your body
compassion
cam
for
footage,
her.
and I believe that was what you
I
were
don't find her
talking about with the jury
responsible.
just before that, right?
Correct.
Or
Now, there
guilty
was
of
some
manslaughter
discussion,
and neglect.
that Ms. Nix had.
But
with
do I
you
feel bad
regarding
for her?
arrest.
Yeah.
Was she arrested on that property?
No.
So at any time, did you tell her she was under arrest while she was there?
No.
Okay, thank you, Living.
So when you were talking with her, other than some statements that were made, what was your goal when dealing with Miss Tracy Nix that we just saw? What was your goal there?
To make sure that she was okay and would remain safe.
Is that one of the reasons why you wouldn't let her drive?
Correct.
So what was the offer of going back to the station? Why did you make that?
I needed to get a statement from her of what had took place. And she also stated numerous times that she didn't want to be where she was. So the alternative was to take her from
Right,
that
pretty.
place
She might be medicated
to
too.
get the statement.
And I think it's clear on there, but did she agree to go with you?
She did.
So before we leave that scene, is the next thing you did go back with Miss Nix then
I did.
from the property?
Correct.
All right. So tell us about that. Where did you go?
We went to the Hardy County Sheriff's Office and we went into the interview room, which is audio and video recorded. And that is where I spoke with her.
And as far as speaking with her, prior to speaking with her, did you take any steps as far as your role as law enforcement is concerned?
I did, just because at that point she was with law enforcement in a unfamiliar building. I did read her Miranda warnings.
And are those, let me ask you this, we'll kind of foreshadow a bit. You said everything was audio and video recorded.
Correct.
Were those warnings that you gave her also recorded?
Correct.
So what you exactly said to her, we'll hear if we hear that recording?
Yes.
Excellent. So at this point, did you just immediately start questioning her about the incident?
No.
And again, we'll be able to see it, but what was your initial goal when you first got her there?
When I first got her there, I wanted to provide her with whatever she needed, tissues, water, anything of that sort, a few minutes to kind of catch her breath. So that's what I initially did, was offer her.
And as a matter of
those
fact,
things.
during this whole process, didn't she in fact have somebody else show up on her behalf?
She did.
Who's that?
Kathy Walker,
And what was that, her relationship to Tracy Nix?
longtime friend.
So was Kathy Walker prevented from contacting Tracy in any way?
She was not.
Now,
The jury
did you
box
actually
has
speak with her
woke
about
up
the
in
incident?
the chat. I see y'all.
Miss Nix.
I did.
Sorry, there's two she's. I should have been more specific. So with Miss Tracy Nix, you did speak with her about the incident.
I did.
Prior to reading her Miranda, or even after that, at any time in order to get her to speak with you, did you promise her anything?
I did not.
Did you threaten her in any way?
I did not.
Leading up to before she was making the statements, was she arrested
She was not.
or restrained in any way?
She was not.
Did she ever tell you she did not want to speak with you?
She did not.
And did she ever try to leave?
She did not.
Your Honor, the state's now approaching the witness with State's Exhibit 55. Would you please look at that item?
Mhm.
Do you recognize that item?
I do.
What is that item?
It's a statement of Tracy Nix that I took at the sheriff's office.
And is this video and audio?
It is.
And does this fairly and accurately depict the conversations that you had with Ms. Tracy Nix that day?
It does.
Your Honor, at this time, state would seek to enter into evidence State's Exhibit 55.
Is that? Mr. Fletcher?
Objection.
I don't have any objection.
All right, admit without objection. State published?
Yes, Your
And
Honor.
then we do want to make it about probably three-ish, make it break, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
For the benefit of the courtroom, it's about an hour and 37
Right.
minutes. roughly.
Just kind of when you get to the, get to about an hour, then we'll break.
Yes, sir.
So George, we're gonna go until about 3:15, and we're gonna find a stopping point, and give you a break, okay? That's where we're on.
Is there anything I can get for you right now? Okay, let me grab you let me set up the door for privacy, okay? Okay, so this is what I've got right now, okay? Okay, so, one of the other detectives was asking, were you in the maroon vehicle?
I was in the red Lexus.
Got it, okay. 206, 203, it was the red Lexus.
I'm gonna just answer you like this, if that's okay.
That is totally fine. Now, what I do need to do is, I'm sorry, give me 1 second.
She just put me somewhere, put me in a jail or something.
So before we even talk, I want to make sure that you're aware of your rights, okay? So, I have to read them because you're in this room with me, but you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask any questions and have that person present with you during questioning. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you before any questioning. And if you decide to answer any questions without a lawyer, you still have the right to stop talking to me at any given time. And you also have the right to stop talking to me at any time until you have an attorney present. So I just want to make sure that you do understand those rights. Okay. So, Ms. Tracy, is there anything else I can get you right now, some water, anything? Okay. So I want to make it very clear that you're not under arrest.
I wish it was.
I know.
I just want to be somewhere.
Can I just give you a few minutes and then I'll come back and maybe we can chat? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna step out and give you just a few minutes and I'll come back and chat with you, okay?
Okay, we're not gonna listen to her sniffle for 10 minutes. Thank you so much, Living. Let's try to fast forward it a little bit.
I know my limits and I cannot do this.
What does that mean you cannot do?
Okay, hold on. Let me go back a little bit. We're gonna start from here, okay? So we missed some of the crying. We're gonna go from here about 8 minutes.
Unless you get the car.
That's something that we can definitely try to figure out for you, see what I can get done.
Can I stay here?
Dang, did I rewind it or something? Wait a minute, did I rewind it? Okay, I think I rewinded it on the accident, huh? Child.
You don't know what this way for. I don't know God's way. Thank you. I don't think I can. I don't think I can. Oh, God.
Okay.
What's he think?
I know VA's catching the nerve of them. Okay, let me be quiet.
You don't know what this way for.
Lord, I muted the wrong one.
Caleb, you'll never be able to get over this. They'll never be able to get over it. And they'll never be able to forgive themselves for it. And I'll never be able to see it again. Right now it is very hard to even imagine. We don't know. We just don't know. Just take it as a second at a time. Ms. Tracy, you feel up to answering a couple questions for me? Yeah. So, because I don't have to look at you. Yes, you don't have to. Tracy, you know about what time it was you picked up Uriel? Kayla Shop could probably tell you it must have been somewhere around 11:30 or 11:45. Okay. She drove from the shop. No, where's the shop at? It's the glass store. Everyone's already glass from Florida Avenue. They all work there. They own it. Okay. And where'd you go to get lunch at? Beach. Okay. I was with Gil Knight, Judy Terrell, and Brenda Knight. And you went to lunch? Yeah. After our prayer time? Gail tonight. And Brenda night? At 8:50? Mm-hmm. Two different nights? Mm-hmm. Still the same? Yeah. Okay. They're in, two of them are in her Sunday school class. And they just had a prayer. What an oxymoron. These prayers are going to come in handy. And Brenda, who was the president? Brenda Knight, Gail Knight, and Judy Terrell. And we saw Bill Stallings and Brenda Roberts to step beside us. Do you know about what time he left these? Okay. Maybe 12:30, 1 o'clock. Is it just you and Uriel in the car? How many pictures in the car is real? And about now, when you got back to the house, did you make any stops in between? No. And when you picked Uriel up from A1, you went straight to B? Yes. Okay. Gail Knight was with me when I picked her up. Gail Knight was with you. You know, took her back home. No, then she got a car with Judy and Brenda. And when I got out, I saw Lacey and I started talking to her, thinking about her. And I broke down there. Okay. And I played my piano. I practiced for a long time. I can't believe I didn't even think of. So you went straight home and you started talking to your dog? Yes. Okay. And what's your dog's name again? Macy. Whose idea was it for you to get Uriel for lunch? Kayla asked me if I would, because she was getting her hair done. Got it. Okay. And he said Uriel was at the shop, and he said that he was busy. And where's your husband at? Home. At home. He was just working out the old.
you know that you got the baby?
Probably not.
So you hadn't
I
told him?
hadn't talked to him.
Okay.
I didn't know until into the prayer time. I told her I did. When I left there, I told somebody to pick her up.
Okay, so you went from prayer to get her to go to lunch?
She was at Brenda Knight's house, yes.
Okay.
And we decided to get lunch, and that's the first time we've ever gotten lunch. If I had just go to the shop and picked her up and brought her home, I wouldn't know she was there.
Okay, and you said the prayer was at Brenda Knight's house?
Yes.
Okay. Where does she live?
She lives on Crosby.
On Crosby?
Out the fourth or fifth house down on the right.
How long were you there?
Probably an hour and a half. We started at 10, and we didn't leave till at least 11:30.
And you said that you were in the red Lexus? Okay. And it was just you and Uriel on the way home in that vehicle? And when you went inside after getting home, what did you do?
I went and turned I take lessons up. I have one on Thursday, and I need to just put in time on it.
Okay.
I never gave him the thought.
Okay.
It was so quiet, I didn't even.
Now, what prompted you to go back outside?
I was thinking my other grandson was supposed to take it out for dinner.
Okay.
And I was impatient because they were about an hour behind. And I finally got in the car and went down to the barn because they had to go feed the pig, 4-H pig. And all of a sudden, when I got out of the car, it came across my head that I had Uriel and what happened. Can't come pick her up, couldn't remember what happened, and all of a sudden, I had been back door. And so there.
So when you got home after eating lunch, where did you park your vehicle?
In the garage. No, I didn't either because the rollers were there. So I parked it under a tree.
At what part of the yard was that?
It was by the wooden fence in the front.
In the front yard?
In the southeast corner, yes. Is that true? But then I pulled it in the garage.
You would normally put it in the
Yeah,
garage.
but I knew that they was worried about nails. I think I pulled it in the garage now that I think about it.
I think that would be your plan.
I think that's what I did.
Do you have any cameras at your house?
I don't know. We do have one in the garage. I don't know if he has it working.
And that's the only camera you had is the one in the garage?
Yes.
Okay. Did you talk to your husband when you got home?
He was out, I guess, on the lawnmower.
How was Uriel during lunch? Okay. How do you spell her name, honey? U-R-I-E-L-L-E. And you said her middle name is Jane. Yes. What's your last name? Shock. S-H-O-C-K? S-C-H-O-C-K. Do you know when her birthday is? 3/I-22. Now, just so I understand correctly, Ms. Tracy, you said that you're ready to meet your other grandson for dinner. Okay. That has been planned for several days. Okay. Now, is this Caleb's son or? No, it's Rebecca. Rebecca. And is Rebecca your daughter? Yes, I have 2 girls. What's Rebecca's last name? Tucker. Tucker.
You want to just pause at that point? I didn't know if it was a good stopping point. It's been about.
Yeah, let's take a 15-minute break, okay? All right.
All right, state or defense, anything we need to go over? Okay, go ahead, let's see.
Sidebar.
There's no jury here, you want?
Oh, I think that's what he does.
You want to go outside?
Yes.
All right, let's go outside.
Okay, so we're gonna fast forward past a break. We're doing good, you guys. We're gonna do about another hour, and then we're gonna dismiss, break up, and reconvene tomorrow. In this case, we're gonna finish it tomorrow. We're gonna do another long run. Let's see. I picked the worst time to get up. I can hear, but not as good as I can hear from my earphones. But my stomach is rumbling. I'm hungry. Fix me some of this good old chili that I cooked last night. Baby, this child is wearing her out. Look at that. And rightfully so. I couldn't even imagine. Oh, okay. They back at it. Okay. Let me find. Thank y'all for supporting this content and rolling through it today. And welcome back, Lady Steph. I couldn't speak earlier. I'm not allowed to say hello to y'all when we listen and stuff.
Time on that one. 10.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna let it play out right here. I'm away from the desk. That's why I'm not highlighting y'all comments.
And what's her son's name?
The oldest.
I'm gonna go back eating.
A-Y-D-E-N. And then there's a younger one, Cooper. C-O-O-P-E-R.
Are you getting both of them?
No.
Which one?
David.
Just Aiden? Okay. And so you said that they were behind an hour. What time are they supposed to?
I was hoping to leave around 3:30.
Okay.
Someone told me 3:30 and 4, and it was after 4:30. Got in the car, said that I would be there when they were even paying me to go.
Okay.
He's back behind the bars.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So they were coming out to your house to meet you. Okay.
were there when I found them. But I realized when it happened.
So they were there? And who all was there?
Daddy had come around and was talking to me. He stopped the mower and I was just sitting in the car before I realized that she was still in there. And Rebecca and Ada had started feeding the pigs. And then there were roofer men putting the new roof on her house.
Okay, so Rebecca, Aiden, and your husband were all there.
And then Rebecca took Ada home real quickly.
Okay. So about 4:30 is when you went out to the vehicle.
Yeah.
About how long after 4:30 did you realize that she was in the car?
I sat and talked today for probably 5 to 10 minutes with him sitting on the mower and me sitting in the car. And then I got out because Rebecca and Aiden had come up and I was going to see if I could help them. And all of a sudden, I realized I just had that flash of what had happened a year ago. And then all of a sudden, I realized we opened the door.
Maybe like 15, 20 minutes?
10,
About
probably.
10, okay. What was the first thing you did when you noticed?
I cried and I was praying. And they got her out. And I went around to the other side of the barn where you found me. I was just praying. And I believe it. I didn't call 911. But by that time, when I went around the place around the barn, lights were already there.
Okay, so you went around the barn and you called 911.
And I went around to the back side of the barn.
Okay.
I was scared.
I know. You're doing a really good job, so I appreciate it. How old is Aiden?
12.
And how old is Cooper?
10.
And does Kayla have any other children? Asher. How old is Asher?
She's 3. She's 3. No.
So your husband and who got Uriel out of the car?
Yes.
Okay. Did he say anything?
He panicked like I did. He started giving her CPR. And begging her to breathe.
You said EMS showed up pretty quickly.
I don't know who it was. I just saw lights.
Okay, so lights showed up pretty quickly if you had 911?
Yeah. And they actually, by the time I had contact with one, they were there, which makes me think Rebecca must have also called.
Have you talked to Rebecca? Called me. Okay. And I had just talked to her about the wedding anniversary. I had just
Oh, I
told
didn't
her.
even think about that.
I think she'll be able to pass. I gave her enough money and we split it.
Oh, it's my anniversary.
Now, Miss Tracy, you told me that you normally only get Uriel about 1 day a week.
Usually once, maybe twice. And last week I had it 4 times because Kayla's not been well.
Okay. Now, is it always the same day, just sporadic?
Often it's the first of the week, but it's sporadic.
Okay.
Often it's Monday or Tuesday. I can't believe I didn't remember.
It's okay. I would need it to write it on my calendar. I'll look at it every day. I wouldn't need anything. They even put well, how old they are each time it's their birthday. They don't remember how old they are. I started to get notes. It's the birthday, and neither did, what's his name, Jonathan's other friend. Tanner. I showed them in the school, and they didn't know either. Has it ever been difficult for you to keep the baby?
Okay. I want you to like.
Okay. Can you think of anything else that might be important for me to know? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna step out for just a second. I'm gonna take your time, okay? And I will. Is that what you need to do?
I wish I could help myself. I wish I could. God, I deserve it.
You deserve it.
Oh.
One parent said they deserve it. And it's calling the baby happy. Never. Nothing was malicious. Nothing was premeditated. Nothing.
I just can't do this. I can't. I cannot. I cannot do this. I can't look at them. I can't face them. I can't do this. I cannot do this. I have never not known what to do anymore, and I don't know right now what to do. I don't think I'm gonna know a year ago.
We've done any practice in any of this. And trust.
Okay, what to be able to do. I cannot do this. I don't know where any script in my head where I can do this. I don't know where any script in my head where we could be a family, where it can work out. Can't happen. Can't be. I just cannot be. I cannot say it. I can't even see myself going back to my house. I can't get a hold of John. You opened you want him to come give you something. John doesn't look me down mercifully like you do a dog. That would be the kindest thing to do. Yeah. Kayla, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. I can't imagine. I don't know what to do for her. I can't do anything. I'm completely out of shoes. Poor Rebecca. She's always in the middle. I'm going to that table and just stay there.
forgive me, Cassie. Oh, God. I don't see any solutions. No, you don't. I don't see a way out. One big cobweb right now. I don't see a way. I'm not there yet. I've always run from things. I think it's just right. It's just not enough of a person to face it. I can't face her. I can't face it. Unfortunately, she's a lot like you. And I run. But what was she going to? Pressure. God. Oh. How in the world are they going to survive it? I want to leave. I want to go somewhere. I want to sleep for about the next 20 years. I can't believe this. It's not fair. You can't. I know you can't do it by yourself. I cannot do it for you. I told Mr. Hey, if it wasn't for Rebecca and David, why do I keep hurting people like love? I don't do it. There's a difference in doing it and it happening. She just had her to suffer, and she just boiled to death. She just wants taking a nap, and she was at first. She just went to sleep. I don't know what to do, okay? I don't know if she can. I cannot believe it's hard on them again. What am I gonna do, Kat? What am I gonna do? Can't do anything. I don't know what that is.
Okay, to all my Caucasian Lit Lane jurors, jury members, watchers, supporters, I don't mean no harm, but I didn't had enough of this all these white lady tears for a minute. Okay, I didn't had enough of these white lady tears to last me. Okay, for a while. Hold on. And I'm on her side. I'm not on her side for guilt. Woo. Oh Lord. But I bet you anything. She was up in that house playing the piano like that, trying to get good to serve the Lord and play the piano for Sunday service. She was the choir director. In every other feasible part of her life, seemingly, she done all the right things. Got married, was fruitful, and had children. Raised the children up in church. Was a career woman. Was a teacher for so many years. A principal for so many years. All the while being good and dutiful at church. Paying her tithes. Serving the Lord in all capacities. Sunday school teacher, piano player, choir director. She's not a teetotaler. She ain't somewhere getting drunk. She's not somewhere not all other things in her life from what they're presenting. She done done all the right things. Serve the Lord, love the Lord with all her heart. And then boom, boom, all of a sudden, in her later years, she didn't got absent-minded. And her absent-mindedness is of the fatal variety. I can't help but feel a little bit sympathetic for her. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of hearing these white girl tears, but hey, we're going to keep listening because we only got about 5 more minutes. Okay, let's go.
Okay, I'm gonna take a couple of snapshots real quick, okay?
Oh, Lord, they're taking jailhouse pictures of the lady. Lord, Jesus, help me.
Now, who is that today? That's Jane. JD. Who's JD? Jane Dorito. She texted me and asked me. So we need Aiden. Yeah, Aiden and Rebecca. All right. Now, I see though that JD, Jane Dorando, she texted you. She did. And I read it, but I don't think I responded to her. Okay, and I see in the first text that said it in the morning. I understand. Okay, so just for, I'm gonna put on there, I didn't see it. All right, and then I'm just going to go into your call log, because you said you called, right? I did call Rebecca. She didn't answer. I see that, okay. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna get out of here shortly, okay? I'm not gonna take you home. I'm gonna take you from one safe place to the next, all right? So I want you just to give me a couple minutes to get something ready.
Baby, our home is everything but safe. Okay?
I had asked her if she needed to talk to her doctor for any reason. I don't know any kind of protocol. And he's up on everything until today. And her medication and all that.
Exactly, Lady Steph. They remove it from YouTube, but not from our StreamYard. That's what happens. What you doing, Rock? Uh-oh. If you didn't heard one tear, you didn't heard 20 of them. Hold on. Okay, let's see what the police officer. She's still on the stand. We forgot all about the little blonde police officer on the stand. Rock barking. Apollo trying to tell paper. They getting restless.
You have your glasses and your phone, so you don't have to worry about carrying anything for shift. If you want, you can walk out with them, and I'll walk with you guys, and I'll let you back in, okay? Okay.
includes the state publishing, State's Exhibit 51.
All right, it'll be admitted into evidence subject to my prior ruling.
May I continue, Your Honor?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Now, I think we all heard the conversation there. I do want to touch upon a few things that were in that conversation. I want to point your attention particularly to when you were talking about a timeline. Do you recall that?
I do.
And I believe you were looking through Tracy Nix's phone,
Correct.
and you took some photographs.
I did.
I'm showing you the pre-market stages. It was 46 to 54. Once again, well, not that you would know this, but would you look at these one at a time? They are labeled on the back. Okay, starting with 46, please.
Sure.
Thank you. Do you recognize State's Exhibit 46?
I do.
Now, Miss Step 219, just yesterday you gave the woman dementia. Now you didn't took it back from her.
And what is State 46?
My.
It's a screenshot of Kayla's contact within the defendant's phone.
And does that fairly and accurately depict what you observed on her phone when you took that screenshot?
It does.
Your Honor, at this time, State would seek to enter into evidence State's Exhibit 46.
Defense?
No, I don't object to state 46, and I don't object to the rest of it.
All right, admit. All right, admit without objection, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Is that new? Whatever, 51, 52, 53, 54. All are admitted into evidence published as you said, being appropriate. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. So what was 46 again?
It's the screenshot from the defendant's phone of Kayla Shock's contact, as well as showing a missed call at 11:08 a.m.
Thank you, ma'am. If you wouldn't mind, would you go to State's Exhibit 47? What does that show?
It shows, again, it's Kayla's contact in the defendant's phone showing an outgoing call lasting 2 minutes that occurred at 12:14 p.m.
Would you please go to State's Exhibit 48, please? What is that?
It's a contact within the defendant's phone, Brendan Knight. It's showing a missed call at 12:25 p.m.
State's Exhibit 49.
And this is a screenshot of the recent call log in the defendant's phone.
And it shows some of the calls that we talked about earlier.
From that day, correct. The missed call from Kayla, the answered call from Kayla, missed call from Brendan Knight, call from Rebecca, and then the 911 call.
And Rebecca has 3, I guess, next to it.
Yes.
Okay. What about State's Exhibit 50?
This would be a screenshot of the defendant's text message with her grandson, Aiden.
And the time of that first message then?
It's 4:43 p.m. when she's asking if the pigs have been fed yet.
State's Exhibit 51.
This would be a screenshot of the defendant's phone and text messages between her and Rebecca.
And what's the bottom message there?
The very bottom message is the defendant saying she's ready to go. Is he about finished at 4:33 p.m.?
And when it says today, what day is that?
That would be on November 1st, 2022.
Thank you. State's Exhibit 52.
That is the text message thread between Jane Durando and the defendant.
And once again, why did you screenshot this one?
It was just within the time frame that she was active on her phone during that time frame of when the incident took place.
And so what's the last message that was at least that she received on this phone from that individual?
4:53 p.m.
State's Exhibit 53.
That would be the contact between the defendant's phone and Rebecca, showing the calls that she had that day with her.
Outgoing and incoming.
Correct.
And what was the last one down there?
She had an outgoing call for 43 seconds at 4:50 p.m.
And that would be on November 1st.
November 1st, 2022.
And finally, State's Exhibit 54.
This would be a screenshot of the call log of the defendant's phone calling 911 at 5:05 p.m.
So after finishing your interview with her, what was the next step that you did in this case, ma'am?
I briefly spoke with Kathy Walker privately.
And is that the individual that we saw on the video?
Correct.
After speaking with her, did you speak with anyone else?
I then reported to Beef O'Brady's.
Okay, what was the purpose of that?
I reported to Beef O'Brady's to see if I could obtain video footage of the events that had taken place earlier in the day with Tracy Nix. Beef O'Brady's.
And were you able to discover if there was a video?
I did discover a video.
And was that taken into evidence eventually at one point?
It was.
Following, speaking of the Beef O'Brady's, how long have you been with the Hardy Sheriff's Office again?
About 12 years.
Are you rather familiar with Wauchula?
I am.
How far is the Beef O'Brady's from the defendant's house?
Approximately between 3.5 and 4 miles, depending upon route.
Sure. Average amount of time?
In between 7 to 9 minutes.
So following obtaining or at least discovering the existence of that video at Beef O'Brady's, what was the next step in your investigation?
The next step was the next day. I went out the following morning and spoke with Mr. Nix.
Mr. Nix, is that, how do you pronounce that? Is it Noon Nix?
Noon Nix.
And so, so you went out and spoke with him.
I did.
And did he speak with you?
He did.
And I guess you might have spoken to some other people also. Who else did you speak with in this matter concerning the investigation?
I then reported to the victim's residence and spoke with her father, Drew Shock.
And he spoke with you?
He did.
And so you've spoken with several people at this point. What was your next investigative step in this case?
I then reported to the medical examiner's office to
What
speak with the ME.
And what was the purpose of that?
To collect evidence and for her to brief me on her investigation.
And did she do that?
She did.
And when you got there, did you collect evidence?
I did.
In particular, what items did you collect?
I collected photos of the victim, footprints, x-rays, the onesie that she had on, multicolored blankets, multicolored teddy bear, and other biological evidence.
Okay. I want to focus on the onesie and the blanket. Okay?
Okay.
I'm showing you what's been pre-marked as States Exhibit 61 and 62.
Okay.
Would you please take a second to look at these? And we'll talk about 61 first. Okay?
Okay.
You good to proceed?
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize States Exhibit 61?
I do.
What is 61?
It is the multicolored maroon floral onesie that the victim was wearing.
And how do you recognize that?
whenever I picked it up for the medical examiner's office and photographed it.
And on the packaging also, do you have some demarcation on that?
I do. It shows that I was the seizing agent of this from the medical examiner's office.
And does that appear to be in the same, substantially same condition as when you collected?
It is.
Evidence States Exhibit 61.
Okay. All right, admit without objection, publish as you see fit. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. And if you would, turning to States Exhibit 62, what is that item?
It's going to be a multicolored crochet blanket.
And how do you recognize that item?
I did seize this item also from the medical examiner's office, and I did collect it and seize it according to the label.
And does that appear to be in the same or substantially same condition as when you collected it?
It is.
Your Honor, state would seek tender and evidence States Exhibit 62.
Okay. Okay. Admit without objection, state publish as you see fit.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'll go ahead and initial. I'm sorry, I'll go ahead and initial.
Yes, Your Honor. As far as we've talked about the interviews with the Ms. Tracy Nix and some other various individuals, and we talked about your evidence collection, was there any further steps, investigative steps you took in this case? Other than we've already talked about?
Not that I recall, no.
At this time, I have no further questions.
All right, thank you. Go ahead and finish if you have already crossed. You're ready. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This first question is for your benefit. We're no kin, are we?
No, sir.
Okay. Did your investigation reveal that Uriel passed away shortly after being left in the car?
Correct.
And in your interview with Tracy Nix, did she indicate that she had had the child, Uriel, 4 days the week before?
She did.
And when you spoke with her that day, November 1st, could she remember where she parked the car?
She could not.
She couldn't say if it was in the garage or if it was under a tree. Am I correct?
Correct. She went back and forth.
Okay. I think it was later to determine it was under the tree.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Did she tell you that she didn't expect to have Uriel that day?
She did.
So kind of like a last minute thing.
Correct.
Okay. Obviously, we've seen the video. She was pretty upset and crying when she was talking to me, that probably the whole time.
Correct.
Okay. Was she cooperative?
She was.
She answered all your questions?
She did.
Any reason to believe that she told you anything other than the truth?
No reason to believe otherwise.
Okay. And at the conclusion of the video, you indicate you were taking her somewhere.
I did.
Okay, and you did take her somewhere. Where did you take her?
Objection, Your Honor. Sustained.
When she was in the interview room, you did not tell her she was being recorded. Is that correct?
I do not recall.
Don't recall if you told her that?
I don't recall.
Okay. Can I have a moment, Your Honor?
Please.
Thank you for the Cash App. I appreciate that. And welcome to the Lit Lane Jury Box.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Hold on a second.
All right. And that concludes today's session, you guys. So what I want to do, okay, we got a lot of good stuff from this one, right? So what we learned was the baby was already into rigor mortis when the first responders showed up. We learned that the baby sweated so much in that hot car that the next day her baby blanket was still wet and had to be put in a drying room. We learned that when they found out the baby was in the car, it was the grandfather who attended to the baby as best he could and attempted to give um life saving what do you call it, procedures or what have you. We learned that. No, I didn't get it. You want me to get it and show it real quick? We learned that. You say you put it under the why you can't drop why the link not dropping in the chat right now, living? Drop it again. It didn't show up as a hyperlink. We learned what else we learned? We learned that she took off and got to hiding and praying. So we learned some significant things, right? And I see that we really, really, really like it looks like the Lit Lane jury box is kind of like this is not a unanimous vote. It may even end up being a hung jury. Now it's not gonna be hung because of me, but let me not say anything at this moment in time. Oh, you see the link? I don't see the link. So let me CPR. Hold on, let me go to the thing. What we gonna do while I look at that? Yeah, I can't hit it from the stream yard. It's not giving me a hyperlink. That's okay. I'm gonna pull it up on my phone and then catch it from my history. So while I'm doing that, we're gonna do a Lit Lane jury poll. Okay, let me know. Type it in the comments. Lit Lane jury poll. Guilty or not? Okay. If you guys that's participating in the chat, if y'all will let me know in the chat, just type guilty or not guilty. We polling the jury. I'll put my answer, what I think too, in here. But let me try to get this link real quick. I kicked myself all the way out the studio. But I am back, and oh my God, we are back with. Let me put mine in. Yeah, she getting the heaviest charge was manslaughter. So we polling the jury, Lady Steph. What say you? Guilty. Pretty Glow Aesthetic. What say you? Guilty. BA Sagittarius. What say you? Guilty. Miss Steph 219. What say you? Guilty. Living My Best Life OG. What say you? Guilty. Oh Lord. Sean P. What say you? Guilty. Kurt Vixen. What say you? Guilty. And myself, Try Watch with Demetria. What say I? Guilty. Baby. So the first day. Oh, let me take a picture. The first day it was a hung jury. It wasn't all guilties. On the second part 2 with us, she found by unanimous verdict guilty. Okay, so that showed you how the pendulum can swing, right? So meet me back here tomorrow. Now a little bit. I pulled up the link, and the link is after the verdict. So I'm gonna show that. And I got it on my list, my playlist thing. So I'll show that tomorrow when we get the verdict. So tomorrow, guys, meet me back here at the Lit Lane in the Lit Lane jury box in the morning. We're going to come and do the rest of the trial and the verdict, get this finished. Tonight, I'll be back on at 7 p.m. We on the best of burn pile moments, best of testimonies. We're still on Scott. And I do believe tonight we're going to be doing the rest of the direct examination from Scott from the state. And then we're going to get into what we're waiting on, which is the cross-examination, okay? So that's tonight at 7 p.m. Thank you guys so much for y'all support. We just going, and growing. Y'all have a great afternoon, and meet me back here in court at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you. See y'all later. Court is adjourned.
Thanks for watching. Do not forget click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Like, comment and share. See you next time.